Friends, welcome. April 9th, 2023, in the year of our Lord, Virtual Strangers. Episode 182 is live. I, of course, am your host, Wes. With me, as always, are my good friends, Ruuts. Happy Easter, sir.
Hey, what's going on? I feel a little inadequate for a second here because I saw Aylin Kara's comment about being here for the bunny background. I almost did a bunny background.
I forgot about the bunny background.
Yeah, I almost got some live birth ones as well. But I did. Well, we'll just move into the intro. I did pull a bunny video for those people that want to see little cute bunnies.
Nice, yeah. Bro, nice. And of course, my friend Eric. Eric, when are you gonna go home, man? What the hell?
Dude, I don't think I'm ever gonna make it home.
I don't think so. That is home.
This is the never-ending trip. I know. Home is where the heart is. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you have your family there. So
you're saying so if home is where the heart is, you're saying that you're heartless.
Exactly. Home is where the heart. Never mind.
Anyway, happy Easter, Eric. I mean, at least you have your family with you, right? I mean,
I do.
In the magical kingdom.
I do. Yeah, we're hanging out at the wonderful world of Disney, and yeah, I finally get to go home Thursday. So like when we reconvene for Q2C VR Gamer Live Thursday night, I will be home. Please, hopefully, please. It's got to end at some point.
Smash your hotel rooms out of the 1980s. Access.
I know. Look at it's a nice view though. I do have a nice view of we're at the Polynesian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
All right, so we've got a couple of things here. First of all, someone in the chat, who was it? Let's see here. Someone in the chat accused me of having a bad hair day. I didn't fix my hair today. I just literally got out of bed with headphones on. So if you don't like it, suck it. Second of all, we have a couple people saying that I'm echoing. So you got desktop audio on by chance, Ruuts?
I don't think so. I'm trying to figure out what they're seeing. Very bizarre.
Check. Am I coming through two sources? Check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Am I coming through two sources? A little bit there, huh?
No, that's Eric. Check. That's just his background static.
Okay.
What? How dare you?
Okay. Okay. I'm coming through. Yeah. Well, no, I'm not. I don't know.
I got an echo too, Wes. Oh my God. Now things are getting serious. Serious business. Let me see.
Yeah, there must be, because we did use desktop on Wednesday or something, didn't we? To do Gambit.
Let me know if that fixed it.
Did that fix it?
I think
Sim
it did.
says two sources.
I think it fixed it.
All right.
I'm going to believe in good faith that somehow Ruuts fixed it.
How dare you?
Anyway, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us on this most religious of holidays. Happy Easter out there to those of you who are celebrating it, and happy Sunday to everyone else. Still kind of feeling like we're trying to get back on track. I think most people are confused now, Eric, because you're not on Wednesday anymore. Half the time we don't do a show on Wednesday, and every Sunday you're here now. What the hell's happening, dude?
I know. I missing Wednesdays and Sundays. I am so freaked up. My schedule is so screwed up. I don't even know what I'm doing. I can't, like you were saying earlier, man, just until I get home, everything's going to be like completely screwed up. Like Todd's in Roatan. I did my show on Thursday with Skiva, and then Jay Bratt came in and not Jay Bratt, but Mateo came in and did half the show with us. So it was everything's been so weird. I just need to get home. I just want Ruuts and Wes on Sunday and the three of us on Wednesday. Back to normal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm a bit confused because Technoglitch says you did it.
I know, and people are like, no, dude, it still sucks.
People let us know, is the audio good or not? Eric, you don't have like your speakers on or anything, do you?
No, I have my earbuds in. I'm wearing earbuds right here. With my little microphone, so.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm muting it when I'm not talking. I'm muting just in case, and I don't think
just in case. Yeah,
I don't think it's
probably
me.
a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think it's me.
But yeah, I feel you, bro. And I mean, if that's not weird enough that you're here on a Sunday, we're not doing a typically Sunday show today. We're actually doing a show today that we would normally do on Wednesday. Although it is a bit hybrid because we are going to do some reminders after we get through Game of the Month. But Game of the Month's typically a Wednesday thing. But there was so much stuff that came out this week, man. I needed to cram. Like I needed to cram just to get a little time in all this stuff. And I still don't feel comfortable, even with the extra days. Like I still don't feel comfortable going into the show, and I'm going to be leaning on the chat a lot to tell me what the best games were, especially on certain platforms.
I'm still I'm still wrapped up in trying to figure out what's going on with the audio. I'm like, what is happening?
Did you know this would be a good place to insert an ad? That's what YouTube just told me.
Oh, well, let's insert an ad. Hey, but let's see. Does this make the echo go away? Did that fix it?
Well, so Brandon and the Spry Guy say that there's still an echo. Techno Glitch and EV Man vs. Gas says that it's fine. So, I don't know.
Oh, Johnny B says,
how the hell is that? How is that even possible?
It's 2023. It's exactly.
That's not even plausible.
You can look at someone can read a news article, MASH, and they can see two different people can see the exact, completely different things, right? Why can it not be the same for hearing as well?
Those of you that have an echo, if you could make sure you don't have two windows open or have your cell phone in your lap playing the show while you're watching it on your screen. Yeah, I don't know what to say. We're going to proceed. Hopefully there is no echo. If there is, it's going to be a bit of a shit show. Chrome Colossus, still echoing. Assassin 32, definitely still an echo. Man.
That's weird.
I don't know. I don't know what to do about this.
Yeah, it's the some people are in one Mandela effect, and others are in a different one.
There's definitely an echo on Ruuts and West, says Flamehead the Gamecast. So it's weird. It's not on Eric. So this has to be something with Eric's Ninja link, right?
I'm muting when I'm not talking. Like
yeah. So it can't be that. So it can't be that. Like
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, is the echo still there? Because I just nixed Eric's ass. He's out. I'm just kidding.
All right, so are we? App J said there was echo, but that was before you killed Eric. Let us know if there's echo now, because do you think maybe because we did give Eric a second link? Do you think maybe that first link is wreaking havoc on us here somehow?
It's possible. It's fixed.
That fixed it. It's fixed. So it's definitely
echo. It's definitely the source.
It's definitely coming through Eric's source.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to fix that. I just wanted to see if it was really him. Okay. Hey, what's up? It's you, bro.
Well, it's two things. Two things. You can kill my audio and we can go through Discord.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Ninja.
That's true.
Or I can just drop. Because I don't want it to go through like last show.
No. Let's just do this. Let me mute you.
Lone Echo 3.
And let me mute Wes. And then let me turn on the audio, but I gotta change this to what I hear.
This is the realness of the virtual show.
There we go.
It's people's favorite part of the show is when we troubleshoot live.
I just can't figure anything out. Like we didn't echo last time we were on. We haven't changed anything. Like nothing's changed. All my settings are the same. Ninja's the same, but things. I don't know.
I think I like to go with a different dimensions theory. That one sounds coolest.
Technology, bro. Technology. How's our levels, by the way? Now that we're on a new source, everything looking. Check. Syphilis.
I don't have this audio info. In this place.
Echo is gone now. That could be it.
Yeah, it's gone.
Sounds good. People say it's good, so we're going to just. Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
Technically, now you can say we did it. We did it. Anyway, so yeah, it is a bit of a special episode today. We're doing Game of the Month, typically something we would do on Wednesday. We took an extra half a week to prepare for it, and I'm still not really prepared for it. Are either of you like fully prepared? I know you're not, Eric, because you haven't been around your VR equipment for a month.
Well, I've been around. Like, I got my headset, I got my Quest Pro, and I got my laptop. So the only thing I really haven't been able to do is my PlayStation VR 2, which is one of the only things I really, really want to do. So that's the tough part. But there's been some cool stuff that I've been able to get into, and March was a good month for some games other than PlayStation games.
It
But
was crazy. It was crazy. All right, let's do a little experiment here. I'm going to start a poll in the chat. And the question of the poll is
you know who else loves a
which,
poll?
My
mom.
yeah, she does.
Oh, she likes it too much. And you slap her hand. Stop. Come on. What are you doing, girl?
Leave the poll alone.
Yes. There's a time and a place. We're on a podcast right now.
So we're going to ask people which platform they feel like had the best month of VR releases this month. We have PSVR 2. We're going to have Quest 2. And without looking, don't cheat. Don't cheat.
Are you talking to me?
PCVR. No, I'm talking to
Okay, I was
the
gonna say
community
because I'm
here.
looking at the list right now. It's already too late to not cheat.
So without looking, I want you all to vote on which platform you feel like probably had the best month for releases. I mean, we had some exclusives come out this month on PlayStation and Quest and PC. Everyone had their exclusives this month, but I want to know who you think had the best overall month, and then we'll talk about it after we get through the nominees. It was a better month than what people realize for VR. It was actually there was a lot of good stuff that came out this month. A couple of games um, that are definitely game of the year contenders without question. So it was a very good month, and then there was a lot of ancillary stuff. Even stuff that I didn't even make my nominees list. Like I was got looking through some of the stuff on Steam. Some of the indie games that I never heard of actually looked pretty cool. So yeah, it was a bit of a packed month for VR, and I got, I got an hour in everything or mostly everything. Multiple hours in the best stuff, but like I tried to make sure I touched everything a little bit, so I had some kind of basis to vote on today. But man, Roots, I mean, so much stuff. It's almost impossible to play everything, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if you want to go deep into a lot of these ones. Some of these are really deep games, and yeah, there's definitely a lot more out than I would have thought. Although I did not need to retract my vote like Looper did because I already knew which one I was voting for that had the most. So, but I'm looking
I'm
at
not
the
so
list.
sure about that, bro. I thought that I was solidified on that one, but then I got into another game a lot more, and now I'm not so sure. So we'll
It's
see how I feel when the voting comes around.
it's been a weird year. Like, I mean, we talked all last year about how content was thin. It was not a great year. And then we said, look, we just need more content. Everybody was like, PlayStation VR 2, not enough content. We need more content. Quest 2, we need more content. But man, I don't know. I mean, if you realistically look back and look at the titles that we've had this year so far, I mean, we're all saying content's king. There's been some really goddamn good
Yeah,
games that have come out since the first of the year. So I
Want
know
more?
sometimes I think we look through things with jaded glasses. I mean, if you really take a hard look and go through the last 3 months, I mean, I think we've done pretty well so far.
yeah. Well,
Expectations. We all want GTA. Where is it? Come on.
I still haven't played through half of my PlayStation VR 2 library. Like there are
That's
like
true.
legit banger games. I haven't even hardly played Village yet. Like, what about that? Like, this is like the game I'm most excited for, and I've been saving it so that I could pick a week where I could really focus on it. And so much other stuff's come up that I really haven't had a chance to get in there and give it the love that it deserves. Like I've played through it quite a bit, and I've pretty much played through everything that I did on the PC version at this point, but I haven't really played anything new in it yet, and there's a lot to go. So well, I don't know. We'll either cover that this week or probably next. I guess Eric's going to be home this week, so maybe we'll wait
Finally.
till next week
Finally,
to do
Yeah.
Village.
I
But
put a message out to all the developers I know, and I know a lot. We know a lot of them, right? So I put a message out said, "Look, I need a month. No more fucking games. I need a month just to catch up."
well, we're at least getting a week. I don't think. I mean, there's a few things that are out this week. One pretty significant one, but it's not like it has been where we're getting multiple releases like this week, like we have the last few. So we'll have a
Sure.
little bit of time to catch our breath, hopefully.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah, you need it for sure.
Anyway, a special episode today as we're doing Game of the Month. I'm glad everyone showed up. We are going to need your help. Your votes are going to mean more than they typically do today, especially with certain platforms. We're also doing some giveaways today. We're going to announce the winners of last week's drawing. We've got a copy of Synth Riders, a couple copies of Albo we're going to give away. I'm also going to give away some other stuff. Like I got other keys. We talked about it last time we were on Roots. No need to sit on these keys. Today's a holiday. Why don't we give out some good stuff today in the chat?
Yeah, I agree.
Hell yeah.
I think
How
Oprah
about,
says, yeah, she agrees too. And
how about we add to it also, and we give away keys for the Last Worker.
oh my God.
I am all for that.
Let's do it.
That
Any
sounds
platform. amazing.
Any platform, hell
We'll
yeah.
let's do two. We'll do one for live, and we'll if you want, we'll do one for the after people that can't watch live.
That's awesome. I want to shout out and thank, what was it, Wired Productions, who was responsible for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wired Productions, man. Wired Productions, Wolf and Wood, and yeah, they're pretty awesome.
And Impact Reality. Well, might as well go ahead and thank them too, right?
They're good guys.
Technoglitch says
I hear
Gambit
that.
was so good he gave it back. It's a very good, very loving
Let's talk
thing to
about
do.
Gambit.
Tech.
Let's talk about Gambit because I got to admit I'm a little surprised with the reaction to Gambit. Yeah, nobody ever claimed it was going to be Game of the Year, but people are saying that the game is not fun. Like I get that it's buggy. I'll admit that. I mean, you can watch our stream and see that it's very buggy. When it works, I mean, I enjoyed it. Like I had fun with it. Now, is it good enough to where I'm going to want to play through it single player? Maybe not, but with friends, I mean, we were laughing the whole time that we were playing.
I guess it
I'm a
depends
little
on your
confused.
That's the biggest
friends.
problem. That's the biggest problem, I think. If you're playing through that game single player, I don't know if I would do. I don't think I would do it. Like, but if we're playing together and we can laugh at it, we can have a good time, we can shoot. Just like, I don't know. It's like going back to After the Fall. I mean, how many times would you want to go to play After the Fall and play it solo, or would you just go in with your friends and play it? And this is that kind of game. So I think if you don't have people to play with, or you're not setting up to go play with friends, I think that's the biggest miss, right?
Yeah, and then people were complaining about the AI, which I mean, yeah, I get it. The AI is kind of dumb, but it's an arcadey like wave shooter type game. It's not like it's easy. It ain't easy. I mean, we died multiple times every
True.
time we played it. So like, I think they make up for the AI being dumb by just giving us so many enemies that it makes it challenging. I don't know. I'm just a little confused by it because I think I still recommend it at $20, but when people kind of have this backlash, it confuses me. I get it. There are a couple other content creators gave it very negative reviews, and sometimes that has a bit of a Pied Piper effect and kind of sets people's expectations. But I don't know, man. Other people's experience just isn't mine with this game. So I just wanted to say that really quickly. And if you found our coverage of the game misleading, I apologize. But we were being
I,
honest, and I'm being
I'm
honest right now.
I'm with you too. We've been playing this game for a long time, and to me, the game is the game. It's a great game. We said it was a great game a long time ago, and I don't think anything's changed, other than maybe they fixed a few things. But I think they still need to fix a few more. That's the only thing. But other
So
than that,
well, here's
it's the definite recommend.
one thing definitely has changed, and that is the Steam copy fucking crashing. Like when we played this before, we played it on Steam, and it was kind of hard for us to find a multiplayer game. But when we got in the game, it played. Like Skiva and I had to play on Quest this
Right.
past week because Steam
Right.
would not run for
Every
us. Like
time.
it kept crashing every time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. How that somehow managed to get worse. I think Crossplay's breaking it somehow because it would always crash when Roots would go into like a different level when we'd finish a level or go into a different area. That's when it would crash. So I don't know.
I shouldn't have
know.
gone. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have gone to the next level. What was I
No.
doing? DURL says he hated it. Crap games can be fun with friends. After the Fall is good on all counts. So
Well, there's things
Yeah.
about this. There's things about this game that I like better than After the Fall. I mean, I like having some sort of narrative driving me forward. And people talk about After the Fall. Well, it has boss fights. I mean, does it? It's got a couple of boss fights. Typically, it's the same boss every time, though. At least with this, there's a little bit of variety with the like the boss fights and stuff. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not claiming that this is better than After the Fall. After the Fall is a much more highly produced, I would say. It
Mm,
isn't like Gambit was clearly built around the Quest platform, where After the Fall was built around higher end hardware. And I think that's obvious. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's better than After the Fall, but it's half the price of After the
Right.
Fall. You know what I mean? And
true.
it's a different game.
What
It
we will
feels
talk
like
about, what was gonna say, what we can talk about though is what we talked about just a little bit before the show started. Is all these freaking developers just launching these games that are not ready. Like
Mm,
to me, I mean, if you can't play the Steam version with the freaking Quest version, fucking game's not ready, man. Don't release it. You already. And here's what we said too. We said this before. All right, game's delayed. I don't have a problem with the game delay, but don't delay the game and then delay and then come out with a inferior or buggy game. If you're delaying it, keep it delayed until you're ready to launch it. Like it just seems like there's a ton of games now launching to the point where nothing works or things are broken. And that's when people get a bad taste in their mouth. Because maybe they wouldn't have had this same bad taste, or maybe some of the deficiencies of this game wouldn't be so glaring if there wasn't issues or wasn't problems, or you could grab a handle, or you could if things weren't broken. I mean, that's the biggest
mm.
problem. We just have so many games now where they're just pushing so hard. I mean, look at the Quest version of, another game we're going to talk about, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Do you don't think right now they have been kicking themselves for 3 months that they didn't wait and launch that game this spring instead of way back then to a buggy mess where people were killing them? Man, people,
yeah.
the developers need to slow
Mm.
down and don't let the platforms dictate when their games come out. Because if they're not ready, they're not ready.
Yeah, I feel like it feels like with Gambit, and maybe I'm off base here, but it feels like that they just said, you know what, we have to go ahead and launch this thing. We've put it off long enough. To hell with it. We know it's not ready. We have to put it out there. Surely they knew that it was this buggy. So what it feels like to me is like it was supposed to launch. You remember about 6 months ago, they told us literally on the launch day that they were having to delay it. 6 months later, it feels like maybe they didn't fix everything that was wrong with it, and they were like, We've been working on this game for 3 years. We got to get it out there. We got to get some return on our investment." And like Loopers in the chat, Looper says it crashed on single player Steam. So like it wasn't your fault, Roots. So no, you don't
Uh,
have to feel bad
Oh,
about
thank
going to the
God.
next level.
Well, I
it's
just
not
want to
good, man.
I just want to throw
No.
out there that I didn't have problems running The Last of Us, but it did take a long time to do the shaders, and it really stressed my i12. Even
Wow.
just running it was very intensive on the
That's
CPU.
a shame.
But I'll tell
I
you
was
what,
so
I got
looking
3
forward
hours
to
in. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool game.
I was so looking forward to experiencing that game in VR. It's probably ill advised at this point, right?
Speedy did something with it, a video for it, but yeah, they're still rolling out optimization stuff for it already, and that last one didn't really help much for me. But I mean, it runs good. It looks really good. I mean, Mash, you should check it out. I got it on
I
my
want
Steam.
to. I can't wait.
So,
You have it in your Steam library?
yep. Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna do it. That's because that's one that I only played through the flat version for probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours when that originally came out.
Oh wow.
So you guys haven't
So
experienced this story yet in any form, have you?
no,
Oh, dude, man, Tommy, my brother. I just had my daughter died in front of me, man. Ellie, she's there. I'm keeping her safe. She's close. She's already been bit, Wes. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
no. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I have
That's
not,
real
but I
rough.
did run through the city, and if you take too long, then the walkers attack you, and
Walker's got me.
yeah, it was crazy. Well, there was
I
real
want to see
walkers.
this game.
It looks
You
really
think
good.
PlayStation will run this game? Think they'll do it in VR?
It's me.
I don't know.
I don't know. It could
But
be. It's third. If people could get past the third person thing, it's gonna be in VR soon, modded anyway, and it's gonna be cool.
it's difficult to say. I do think Sony's going to bring some of their heavy hitter IPs into PlayStation VR 2 when they really launch it, when they put it in stores and push people to start buying it. What those IPs turn out to be, I have no idea. Could be Last of Us, could be God of War, could be Returnal. I mean, could be any of that stuff. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Um, Technoglitch says, "Damn, you guys didn't play The Last of Us on PS3, PS4, PS5." I played it on PS4. I wasn't actually gaming during the PS3 era. I was completely out of it, and I got it on PS4 because it was cheap. It was like $10, and I had my PS4 for a while before I had my PSVR 2. So during that period, while I was waiting to get VR, I played The Last of Us, and it might be the best game I've ever played, just because the story's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm Joel. We're kicking ass, dude. Zombies. That's fun. I'm really enjoying it so far.
I want you to get through it. I want you to get through it, Ruuts, just so you can play the second one, and I want to see your reaction to it.
I've got the second one. I bought it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I can't wait. I can't
want
wait
you to stream it. I want you to stream it when you play that game.
I'm getting nervous now.
You should be, bro. You should be. Anyway, why don't we get the show on the road? We have a lot of games to talk about today as a part of our game of the month. I'm gonna go ahead and close our poll. So just for the record, most people think that PSVR 2 probably had the best month, with PCVR coming in second and Quest 2 coming in third. Surprisingly,
that's surprisingly. I think people are going to be surprised.
Yeah,
I think people are going to be surprised as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's say hello to our friends in the chat. Space Dennison is here, as is MRI Gamer and Brandon VR. What's up, friends? Janesse Qua is here as well, as is Technoglitch. Typical Kiwi is here. Says only follow PC and Quest releases, so don't know about PSVR 2. Well, you came to the right place because we've been very PSVR 2 heavy lately, and a lot of the best stuff has been on PSVR 2. Thomas McNostril is here. Man Bear Pig Game Cat with the $1.99 donation said, "I just want to tell you guys I love the show." Well, we love
Me
you
too.
too, Man Bear Pig Game Cat. Like I said last week, I think your handle is probably my favorite.
Seriously.
So thank you for the support and thank you for the kind words.
I love the
Now
show
I feel all
too.
good, Roots.
I
I feel
love
all
it.
good now, Roots. We're gonna have a good show.
Yeah, and the bunnies are happy and they're frolicking.
Man,
No
look
one's
at those
eating.
bunnies.
I know. It was hard to pick.
Well,
I
wait a
haven't
minute,
seen
what-
not one. I haven't seen not one bunny having sex in that background.
I
I'm
know.
pissed
Well,
off.
I'll tell you what.
What's the problem here?
I found a couple, and I decided, you know what, this is family friendly show, and
What? Who decided this had to be a family friendly show?
It's Sunday. It's Sunday, bro. Like
That's
it's
true.
Sunday
That's true.
evening. Like
So Wednesday night is okay, but Sunday.
Yeah, that's when the strangers come out. Strangers in the night. Look at that bunny getting up there, up close and
It's so
personal.
cute. It's so cute. Oh, wait a minute. Is that one giving? No, never mind. Wet Morin's here. Matt Warren, what's up? Good to see you. D-Rail's here, as is Chinatown D. What's up, D? Mickey Barrios here as well. MRI Gamer, Lesser Logic. Hello. Mimi is here. What's up, Mimi? Mark Pringlesleaf here as well. Sim, what's up? Says it's not just VR games that have bad releases. Look at The Last of Us. What a mess. So yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah,
It's a shame. One of the best games of all time. Should have been better.
it still
when
looks
it
amazing. The
launched.
remake, Wes. You're gonna be blown away at how good it looks. It looks like a legit brand new game.
Did you play it flat, Roots, or just try and play it VR?
Yeah, I played flat for on Friday.
Oh, is that you streamed it Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Looper's here. What's up, Looper? Who else is here? Hussein X is here. Boognish66 says playing Gambit was one of the funniest experiences I've had in VR. Yeah, man. I like it. I like the vibe of the game. There's a lot I like about that game.
$20.
Surprised that people hate it so much.
Well, people are also complaining about the time, how much time the game takes to beat the first, what's there, a couple hours, but they're still adding, right? Chapter 2, Chapter 3.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, and here's the deal. I was going to say,
Right.
here's the deal too, is every game now is fighting for every dollar. How many games, especially if you're a multi-platform gamer. So if you've got PlayStation VR 2 and you've got Quest and you've got PC, there's only so many games that people can buy. I can see where people are like, okay, well, I'm going to refund my money because I can go buy Vertigo 2 instead.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Well, I can't argue with that.
That's definitely a $30 for Vertigo 2 is a steal.
Agreed. Agreed. A lot of good deals with the stuff that came out this month, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. Crickling Crank joining us. Welcome. Guido's here. What's up, Guido? Guido says, I beat the first chapter yesterday. I like it. There you go. So it's not unanimous. That's good. Um, let's see here. Chrome Colossus. Hello. Rush the VR Game Cat. Hi. Island Kara's here. What's up? Michelle B. Hello. Spry Guy's here. Are any of these bunnies going to be giving birth? He asks. It's possible. You never know, man.
It's possible. I've got the video out there. I just say it's unadvisable. I did see it out there. It was
Put
it
it
was
up.
cute. It was cute. It was like, you know.
Spaced Innocence here says Village is crazy. Agreed. That's so weird, Roots. Like I think that might be the best game in VR right now. We haven't covered it yet. What the fuck is wrong with us?
Brandon VR wants to know if we did a game of the month last month. Definitely don't pay
No.
attention. We haven't done it for a couple months.
No, I think it's been. I think November was the last time we did Game of the Month. I think
We didn't do one for
did
December either.
Well, I mean, we did Game of the Year in December.
Right. That's true.
Right. And for those of you who don't know, the Game of the Month is not really an awards like show. It's a nomination process, is what it is. We're nominating games for Game of the Year. That's why we do Game of the Month. With January, January was CES. It was the 2022 show, and there wasn't a whole lot of releases that month anyway, so we skipped it in January. And then February came along, and we had 40 games drop in the last week of February, and we were like, nope, not even going to try it. We I mean, if you guys want to know the truth of it, like besides PlayStation VR 2, I would say that the Light Brigade was probably the game of the month in February. Light
Right.
Brigade was awesome. But there were other games too that came out. I mean, it was a pretty good month for VR games. But the PSVR 2 stuff it was just too much at the end, and we felt like we didn't really need to nominate Game of the Year contenders from that. We thought that time would sort all that out for us, and by the end of the year, we would know what the Game of the Year contenders were out of the PlayStation VR launch lineup. And I would say that that's true. Like Village and Horizon, Gran Turismo 7, those are your nominees. Did I miss anything, Roots?
No, I think that's pretty much it. As far as the ones I want to play anyway, or wanted to.
I mean, there's some good stuff in there. There's a lot of great games in there. But if we're talking about stuff that can really compete for Game of the Year, those were the ones. Did I forget anything, Eric?
I think you're pretty much there. I mean, it was. I don't know. Pretty much. Oh, yeah, I think you're there.
Gorn, game of the
Tales from
month.
the Galaxy's Edge.
This month?
Tales
Corn.
from the Galaxy. Yeah.
That's the one I was just
Edge
thinking
is
of.
really good. Yeah.
That's the one I was just thinking of. I have a review coming of that one when I get back because I kind of told them I would do it and get it done. And that's the one I'm probably looking forward to getting in first when I get back because I've heard so many good things about that game on that platform directly. And I played through it all the way on the Quest platform, so I'll have a really good idea of how much better that is.
It's definitely better. It definitely seems like a game that was meant for this platform, which is interesting to say, considering that it was a game that was developed for Quest initially.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I'm so like I feel so bad about not getting to some of these other games because I know how good that game turned out to be. So like, how good is Zombieland now? How good is Song in the Smoke now? These games that we haven't had a chance to get to yet. I'm really interested to see how they turned out on PlayStation VR.
You need to
as well.
try Tetris Effect and Synth Riders are both amazing.
I haven't done Synth
Yeah.
Riders yet. I did do Tetris Effect. Tetris Effect is definitely amazing. You're right.
Yeah.
I did both. They were both freaking really, really good.
It's VR.
On
It's
PlayStation VR
Tetris
too.
in VR.
Well, it's more than that.
Oh, that's right.
Anyway, who else is here? Let's scroll up a little bit more. Decepticons here. I think Grand Theft Auto will come to Quest 3. So people are talking about Quest 3. Brandon says that that Ghostbusters won't be here till Quest 3. I don't agree with that. I think it'll be here before then. Decepticon says GTA will come with Quest 3. I do think that that's a possibility. I think a lot of these big IPs that we've known have been in development for years. I think we're finally going to get these games in the Quest 3 launch cycle. Although I do believe that we will have Quest 2 versions of these games as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who else is here? Did we miss anybody? Scrolling. Samson 143 VR. What's up? He says 100% Vertigo 2 for the win. Definitely a strong entry this month. Vertigo 2. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Corporate Zombies here. What up? Good to see you. Who else? Looper Funky Sloth. I don't know. We said hello to Funky Sloth yet. What's up? Assassin 32. What's up? App J. I think I might have already said hello to all of them. Mighty Potter is here. Good to see you. 12, the Backlog Game Cat. I think we're all Backlog Game Cats right now. Let's be honest. Fourth Wall Breakers here. Flame Hat, the Game Cat. What up? Evie Man versus Gas. Pete Neon. What up? What up? Who else? Boognish, we already said hello to, I think. Hello, Boognish. 66. Scrolling. Sim, what's up, Sim? Eye on the icon. What up? And I think that might be it. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of the same names now. Xenomorph. What's up? Xenomorph never had any echo. Says no echo in the UK, so maybe it was regional Roots, the echo.
I think that that makes sense. You know, they have a different time zone there. Mark Pringles Leaf says, how do you think the Quest 3 will be compared to the PSVR 2?
I think it'll be a completely different platform. Like I think it'll be a revelation or a revolution for standalone games. I think that we're finally going to start to see some standalone games that look a little bit more like PC games. But it's going to be a different platform. I think that what Sony's going to offer are big AAA games with tactile feedback that you can't get anywhere else. And I think that what Quest 3 is going to offer is a new graphical standard for standalone games and mixed reality functionality that you can't get anywhere else. So I think they're going to be very different platforms, each with their own highlights and lowlights, which is cool. It's cool that Eric, that we're starting. We're on the precipice now where we're starting to see the different platforms in VR offer different features, which is something that we haven't really had up until now. So it's pretty cool to start to see our technology mature a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's the wrong question. I think the wrong question is, or the right question is how much better is the Quest 3 going to be than the Quest 2, and that
Yeah.
jump. And here's what's going to drive me. Like you guys all know I am a hardware fan. It's going to be the software that we see come this fall with that headset. So it's the headset itself which we are all looking for, that jump, which I think we will get that jump in graphics that will be very comparable to the PlayStation VR 2, but it's going to be the software that comes with it. We are going to start to see some more AAA games for the standalone Quest 3 headset that we just don't have right now. Like, I definitely think we're going to see Asgard's Wrath. I think we're going to see some other first-party titles from Meta that they've been holding on to. I think we're going to see some really big titles. So to me, it's the combination of the software with that new hardware that is going to make the biggest difference. That's what you want to be looking for, is the software.
Absolutely. Games
Agreed.
matter. Crossing fingers is what I'm saying, because I heard this song and dance on the Quest 2 is coming out, and that was when the more games were going to come out, more AAA, and it didn't happen mostly. I'm sure it will. I just
I think people have short memories with the stuff that Quest did get, because I was looking through that library yesterday and like,
garbage.
yeah, it's saturated with a lot of like fluff and casual multiplayer games and stuff, but there are some great games on that platform. I mean, there's some really great games. I mean, I Resident Evil 4 comes to mind. Into the Radius is amazing. I mean, Iron Man was really good. There's probably a good 30 titles that are just fucking awesome on Quest 2.
Agreed.
Mal is with us. Hello, Mal, as is Destiny 11. Thank you for joining us, friends. And I think, there's Salvador. What's up, Salvador? Good to see you. And is that it? That's as far as I can go. Thank God. What's up, Tass? Mr. Tasselhoff joining us as well. If I missed you, I apologize. We got to start doing the roll call a little earlier, Roots, because it makes it difficult when we wait 20 minutes to start the roll call, and then I have to go through like a lot of the same names. So
Yeah, that's true.
if I missed you, I apologize. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us. Thank you for joining us and showing up to help us with Game of the Month.
We need it.
And we need all the help we can get as we roll over into Oculus. Is it called Oculus still, Eric? Oculus Quest 2? That's right, isn't it?
Oculus Studios.
Oculus Studios for sure.
Anyway, we're going to start on Quest 2. This is, I don't think, I think I speak for all of us here when I say this is the platform that probably got the least amount of attention from us this month. We've been very heavily focused on PSVR 2, and that has come at the expense of Quest 2. So a lot of my time over the last few days is kind of cramming, getting ready for what's out on Quest 2. And we're going to start with the game that we covered a long time ago, Arc and Aid. And Roots, am I wrong, or did this game used to just be called Arcade?
I thought it was arcade. I don't remember this trailer either of like this guy flexing his butt muscles, but definitely definitely interesting. Definitely retro, right? Giving you that retro feel. But yeah, this is
They got sued. They got sued.
Did they really?
They did, yeah. So we do a little work with Beyond Frames because Beyond Frames also takes care of Ghost of Tabor. So I got a chance to meet with the publishing studio and the arcade guys, or Arcade. It was Arcade. They got sued by somebody who owns Arcade. So they got sued and they had to change their name. They had no choice.
Yeah, makes sense. Hopefully the damages weren't too much. I don't think people were mistaking this game for something else. This game is pretty unique in the VR catalog, I would say, Eric.
It really is, man. This is we covered this thing a long time ago. And back then, I mean, we were talking about the devs saying this game deserved to be on the regular store, and like we had no idea why it wasn't. And yeah, this was a super cool game. I just remember going through this and playing it, and like you get to that one spot where you get the big Gatling gun, and you're just like, holy crap, man, this game is just so good. And yeah, this one's another one that kind of shocked me. It came out of nowhere when we originally saw it. I'm glad finally now it's on the store.
And typically, we won't renominate games as they move from App Lab onto the main store, but we do make exceptions when games receive significant updates and changes from the earlier version. And I think this game fits that bill. There's a lot. There are like I think 3 more boss fights in this thing now, and a few more weapons than there were back in the day when we covered this game. So I do feel like it was kind of in early access up until this point, and now we've got the full version of Arc and Aid. This is a retro-inspired arcade shooter, if I'm allowed to say that without getting sued. And it's a lot of fun. It actually is a lot of fun. You know what really blows me away about this title, Roots? $10.
Yeah,
$10 for this.
It's $10. Blows me away that the title really didn't change. Very smart. It's arcade anyway, Arc and Aid. But I would submit it's a completely new game with a new name, so it needs to be in this for that reason anyway. But yeah, $10
trailer.
Yeah, and the trailer as well. Definitely worth $10 for sure. Probably to double that.
You know who else loves this trailer?
My mom.
Oh yeah, you know who else is worth $10?
My mom.
Oh my god.
Well, maybe.
You know what this trailer is, Eric? This is the magic that Ace Saint Germain brings to all of us.
Freaking Ace is so good, dude. He knows the butt flex is where it's at, man.
Yeah, he knows. We're gonna start seeing it for Ghost of Tabor and Mixture and all their titles. We're gonna get the butt
Hell yeah.
flex.
More butt flex, Ace. That's what we need. More butt
Yes.
Anyway, we move along to another game that kind of fits the same the same description as a game that we played on App Lab, a game that has received significant updates and thus deserves a nomination, as we now, Roots, get the fast travel games version of Guardians Frontline. And I did get to spend a little bit of time in this week, and I gotta say, this is a whole different experience from what we played only I don't know, less than a year ago.
Yeah, it was like a very early on, almost like we were trying somebody's game that they just created, right? Hey, jump in my world and let me see it. Totally different experience. Definitely. Actually, people were loving this game, right?
Yeah, this game was a big surprise for me, because I mean we kind of liked the concept when we played it, but it was kind of bare bones and generic. And you can definitely, Eric, still tell that this is an indie game, but it's a lot more polished now and a lot more filled out than it was back then.
Yeah, it makes you just kind of like realize what a good publisher, can do for you. You know what I mean? Because I think they were kind of like struggling with what their identity a little bit on what kind of what they were. When you mix genres like this, first person shooter and like an RTS game, and I think they were kind of caught in the middle, and they didn't do either particularly fantastic. They did both okay. I think to me now this is a cool real time strategy, but the first person shooter and this is better, Wes. I tried it this past week too, and the movement system's way better and the guns are better. I like this one. I like it a lot better than I did
Yeah,
the original version. It's like a
yeah, I
lot.
had a
I mean, I
bad
like a
blast.
lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Like when I was playing this earlier today, I'm thinking, man, we got to get other people in here because I did only play it in the single player context, and this is a multiplayer co-op game. A lot of different game modes here, a lot of different genres getting mashed up. Roots, any game that can incorporate RTS and tower defense into it, and I actually enjoy playing it. I mean, they're doing something pretty special.
And when it's multiplayer, yeah, it's definitely. I
Yeah,
remember it being really cool even when. This trailer looks really good. Definitely need to get in there.
some Halo vibes, Eric.
It definitely does. Yeah, I think it was just somebody D was just saying Halo. This is if you would put the Halo license behind this, I could buy it as Halo.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, it would need some kind of like some AAA polish put onto it if you're going to call it Halo. But um, for what it is, it's really cool and probably in terms of the games that I played on Quest this month, this was the surprise for me. Like this was the one that I really enjoyed a lot more than I thought I was going to enjoy. And at $25, I mean, it's kind of a bargain. There's a lot of game here, and if you're into first-person shooters and into the kind of whole sci-fi scene, this game offers things that others, others in the genre don't. So definitely recommend this at $25, and definitely one of the stronger releases on Quest 2 in recent months.
Do you guys know, did the Steam version get updated as well, or is it just the Quest
It
version? I
it,
didn't
it
try.
did. I haven't tried the Steam version, but it did. It had a concurrent launch date with the relaunch on Quest. So if you go
Hmm.
on the Steam, it says that it launched on March 9th. So definitely it got it updated. I don't know. I can't speak to the differences in the game. I'm assuming that they're purely graphical, but I can't even really
Hmm.
verify that. If anyone in the chat knows how this game stacks up on PC, we have it. I just didn't have time to get into it.
Yeah, maybe we should all get in and check the Steam version out, get it together.
Yeah.
I'm down. Definitely down. Maybe, yeah. Maybe when we need something to stream sometime soon, maybe that's
Yeah.
what we go for. Moving along, Peaky Blinders: The King's Ransom. This is one of the games that I did not play, and I didn't play it. I'm a bit embarrassed to say this. I mean, other than the fact that we were so bogged down with PSVR 2, I kind of took Gamertag VR's word on this one. Like he gave this one a fairly negative review, but if you read the reviews on it, it's got good reviews.
Hmm.
And after watching GT's Gambit review this past week, I started thinking maybe we made a mistake not checking out Peaky Blinders. Um, I don't know. Rich, do you think that this game is just fan service, or do you think there's something more here?
I don't know, man. I don't see it. Doesn't looks like it could be good. I don't have any vested interest in the series, so I know Wolvie loves it, and maybe if you love the show, you'll love this. Maybe it's just really good. I mean, what did GT say about it? Did he just say that the gameplay sucks, or it's just not his deal, or?
Pretty much. He said that the gameplay wasn't very engaging, and that I don't know. He had a lot of criticisms over it. To be honest, he didn't like much about it, which is interesting because he did like the demo, as I recall. So kind of weird to think about what could have gone off the rails with this one.
I
Eric, as far as like the visuals, I mean, it looks good for a Quest game, doesn't it?
Yeah, I actually did try this.
What?
Not long. I put like maybe half hour, 40 minutes
Oh
into
my
it. Skiva had
God.
it downloaded onto his headset when I was in Austin.
Okay.
And I think we were on doing a show or something. We talked about it like literally right after I jumped on just because he had it already ready to go. And I played like, it was probably half hour, 40 minutes while everybody was there. And I thought it was very generic. Oh, hum. Like, I
I
think
think
they,
there's.
okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think they kind of like took the IP and let it and just, tried to let the IP sell the game and make the game. And it was kind of boring and just like, I don't know the IP very well. So I think if you have no interest in Peaky Blinders as a show, I don't think you'll have anything here that you really want to go back to.
So, Island Kara says something similar to that effect. Says if you watch Peaky Blinders, the show, there's some special experiences in this game. But if I didn't like the show, I'd probably return the game. So there you go. So it seems like we've got some fan service going on here.
Mm.
Chrome Colossus, the Game Cat, which there's no Game Cat on there anymore, but I see your profile. You're definitely a Game Cat. Says you guys are great and also mighty. VR creating in dreams is incredible. So if it gets PSVR 2 support, buy and play it. Happy Egg Bunny Day to all. I would say anybody that still has their PSVR 1 out of the box should already own Dreams. Like they put this thing on sale for dirt cheap. And Roots, if Dreams gets PSVR 2 support, it's going to be on a whole other level.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about going back into that headset though. I'm like on the edge. Astrobot maybe, Rush of Blood might draw me in. That's about it. Like I can't see
Yeah.
myself, but it just. But I
I've got to
definitely want to see.
insist though. I've got to insist that you hook it up for D. D needs to play the best from PSVR.
She does. She does actually. And we've talked about it. She needs to play for sure all of those games. Astrobot, Farpoint.
I want her to play Farpoint. She'll absolutely love Farpoint. I bet you she plays it almost all the way through on the first sitting if she has time.
I
Guarantee
did.
it.
Agreed. And the multiplayer co-op's awesome too.
Yeah, that's true. That's where West shines.
I was gonna say I would almost hook my PlayStation 1 back up just to go in and do multiplayer for that game.
Four player? Can you do 4-player multiplayer?
Ooh, that would be awesome. No, I want that though.
No, not on Farpoint. You can. It's just
Tell
play
them. Tell them we want it.
We want it.
Farpoint 2.
Well, we've been telling them about all kinds of stuff that we want, but they're
We're getting Larcenauts 2 first.
Oh God.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
As we move along, a very busy month for fast travel games as Ghost Signal, a Stellaris game, launched this month as well. This is a very interesting game. I don't know if I've ever played as pure a roguelite on VR as this game is. Like this game, scratches a few different itches, but at its core, Eric, this game is a pure roguelike strategy game, and that's the best way I can describe it.
It is, and you wouldn't think it. It doesn't look like it is, right? It doesn't. It's not a shooter, in like the first person, shooter sense. It is a shooter, but kind of not. Like you're kind of controlling the ship, third person. But to me, I don't know, Wes. I don't know, Roots. I don't know how much time you put in. I didn't put a ton of time in this game. I did play it. I played the demo early on, like in October, I think, or whenever Gamescom was, and I played it recently this past week just to go in and check it out. Man, this is the sleeper for me for this month. I think this is a really, really good game, and this is one I want to go back to because the progression in this is super cool. Like, and I think
it's all progression. Like this game is progression. Like
Yeah.
there are shooting sequences in this game, but honestly, I feel like the game would be just as good without them. Like it's the action sequences are just kind of something that you do so that you can move on to the next decision and the next choice that you have to make. It's all about the choices that you make. Beyond that, Roots, and I don't know if you got into this game or not. Very surprised at how good this game looks inside
Really?
the Quest headset. It's a very good looking game as well.
I've heard a lot of good things. Eric, you're saying so you would choose this over Peaky Blinders to go back into? You're not thinking about Peaky Blinders?
Never go back into Peaky Blinders ever again. I will go and I'll definitely go into this. This game is awesome looking too.
This is not my like typical type of game, but I've heard enough people say that this game is really good that I respect, and MASH is now on the list. and the trailer looks really cool. So I think we should go into this, check it out, and see what it's all about.
Yeah, that's kind of the only negative mark I put on it is that this won't be a game for everyone. This is very much a strategy game
Mm.
with a roguelike structure. But what it does offer, it offers very good visuals. It offers a lot of variability depending on the path that you take and the strategy that you decide to employ. And Eric, beyond all that, it offers a lot of really cool sci-fi
Mm.
weirdness, like in the environments, in the creatures and enemies that you
Yeah.
encounter. There's a lot of variety and a lot of weirdness to this game, which is something that I really dig in VR. I wish we had more stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know this Stellaris universe, but I guess it's pretty vast and there's a lot of story behind it. But you're right. I mean, the huge enemies that you see here, and some of them are not just enemies too. Some of them can be your like friends, some of them can be allies and help you fight throughout the game. Your in run perks that you can get are really vast and different, and like you said, I mean, the shooting is a part of the game, but just the strategy of how you move your ship, where you move your ship, who you fire on first in a battle can change exactly how you go through and you play this game. Different perks that you pick up through one run can adjust how your next run goes because you'll get different perks between rounds based on those as well. So there's so much here. Like if we always talk about these roguelites and how deep they can be, and if they're done correctly, they can be like give you a ton of replayability and not frustrate you, want you to come back and do more things. Like I get into this game just a little bit, and I was already like, all right, I want to get this next time. I want to try and do this next time. There's a ton of decisions you can make here in this game, and then the story itself is pretty damn cool too, man. This is an interesting world, this Stellaris world.
Yeah, yeah, it is. You could tell that this comes from a well-established IP because there's certain things that are so polished that it took years for them to kind of develop it out. So um, it's interesting, man. It's interesting because we'll get to that when we get to the end of the nominee list. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment.
Mm.
But to round out the Quest 2 nominees this month, we have The Last Worker. Oh, by the way, before we move on from Ghost Signal, $20, $20 on that, which is a bit of a surprise to me, Eric, considering Guardians also published by Fast Travel. Guardians was $25. I expected the first party Fast Travel game to at least cost the same, $5 less for Stellaris than Guardians.
Yeah, I think it's a great deal. There's a ton of gameplay here. You'll be playing this thing for hours. So for $20, it's a steal. And damn, I want this game on PlayStation VR 2 so bad. That game and with
Yeah.
I mean, it already looks great on Quest 2, but with OLED screens,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
if we had
awesome.
some like high resolution skyboxes behind all of the already very detailed planets and stuff that's in the foreground,
Mm.
definitely would be a bit of eye candy for
Is
PSVR.
is it going to PSVR 2? Somebody wants to know.
I hope.
No confirmation on that.
Mm.
Fast Travel is very coy when you start asking them about other platforms. They're very tight-lipped. They typically grin and say we've got stuff on the way, but they won't tell us, what that means. So your guess is as good as mine there on that. I don't know.
I think it's time to get our buddy Andreas back on somewhere. We can start asking questions.
Yeah, yeah. I think we get a lot of no comments from him because I just have a feeling. Anyway, to round out the Quest 2 lineup for March, we had The Last Worker, um, a very unique title in VR roots. I would say that the best description of The Last Worker is this game is kind of the evolution of interactive experiences. Like we've covered interactive experiences throughout the history of our channel here. We've given it a little bit more play than most channels do because we enjoy being told a good story. I would call The Last Worker kind of the next gen version of those, those wolf in the walls types things that we did last generation.
Yeah, it's got really good production, right? Good. I
Yeah,
mean, everything about it
that's
is production wise is top notch.
That's the thing that sticks out most of all to me in The Last Worker. I don't think I've ever played an interactive experience that's just as well produced as this. I mean, it looks great. We talk about cell shading being good enough in a lot of these games. It really looks good in the headset this time around. and thanks to the lighting and some of the other things that they do. But the voice acting, Eric, the voice acting in this game, and we've heard it said elsewhere as well. The voice acting is world class.
It is, man. Jason Isaacs is a funny, funny dude, man. He's got a great voice with his English accent, and he swears like crazy in this game, man. I love it, man. But yeah, I mean, I would say this is the voice acting, and then the amount of like star actors in this is like right up there with like Wilson's Heart. I mean, I think it's really well done. I mean, you got a lot of star power behind this, and I want to see more of them, more actors and more good voice actors getting into VR.
Roots, it's taken this game years to finally make its way to release, and you can tell it when you're in there that this is something that they've been polishing for a long time now. I mean, it's really well produced in every aspect.
Yeah, the animations of the guy's face as I mean, I've sat so many times as he's doing his dialogue, you just find yourself watching, just because it's done so well. But yeah, this is the production level, the quality level on this is top notch. You know, no matter what you're doing, even just zipping around on your little skiff, definitely a well done game.
So where the questions start to creep in, and by the way, this is a $20 title available on all platforms right now. Um, where the questions start to creep in with this one is when we start calling it a game. Uh, because Eric, while this is definitely a game, there are gameplay elements at play here. I'm not sure how much they actually add to the experience. I think I would have probably liked this title just as much if the gameplay stuff wasn't even in there.
Yeah, this is where it gets weird for me. Like, I really like the game, and but I've heard from several people now where like I almost would have preferred to just watch it flat because you can, watch somebody else play the game so you can get the story. You know what I mean? And that in itself, when you talk about a VR game, can be a bad thing. But I'm glad I experienced it in VR. But like, if you wanted to get the story and go watch somebody else play it, you could probably get a good story and watch it that way. But for me, I mean, I do like playing it in VR. But yeah, I mean, if you get to the point where you're like that I just want to get to the next scene to see what's going on in the story, and I don't really care about what I'm doing in the, you know, headset. That's where I think it gets a little bit rough.
It's not all bad. And by the way, I do think the immersion of VR does add something. My point is that I would rather watch it in VR than play it in VR most of the
Agreed.
time. But Roots, it's not all bad. The stuff that I really didn't care for was how much they kind of hung around the doing work in VR. Like we get it. You work for Amazon or Jungle as they call it in this game. That stuff, it was cool the first time. It got kind of repetitive. It's kind of like a time trial thing for you to you're filling orders, right? You're working at a warehouse filling orders, and I think it worked the first run. But by the time we got through the second and then the third, it was like, all right, we get it. Enough of this, right?
It'd be one thing if my run was getting one package, but it'll be multiple. Like you're going from here and you're doing this, this, and this, and you got to get different levels onto the time trial, right? And I felt like I was working. Like I don't work
Yeah.
for Jungle. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to get your package. But yeah, I'm one of those people like Masterson.
Roots. You're not getting packages. You're delivering
Oh,
dreams.
that's right.
Right.
That's true. And
Dreams.
sometimes it was interesting. I just feel like if they each time we did that, if they just had you go get one package, that would have been enough. You know?
I agree.
But when I'm going through and I'm doing the second one and there's like 5, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, because now you got to go and I like the mechanics of how they do it and you zip around and stuff. But like you said, after a couple times, I'm over it. And maybe that this is just padding the game. There's a lot of game time in this, right? Zip in here, zip in there, and it's making the story longer. I would rather have just hit a button and then zipped around and watched a virtual guy do it. They call it lazy Roots mode. And then you can pretend I'm doing it, and then I just watch the story, like Wes said, inside the headset. So
Story mode would be cool.
yeah,
Now, you know what? I did enjoy though. It wasn't all bad. It wasn't all bad. That order fulfillment part of the gameplay I didn't enjoy, but what I did enjoy, Eric, was some of the stealth sections. After you get around the kind of mundane uh, tasks that are part of your job, and you start to kind of delve into the forbidden areas of the warehouse, and you're trying to hide from security bots and infiltrate. That I found out to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was way better than just the basic grab the package, figure out if it's defective or not, and then either deliver it or put it in like the return pile. I mean, those are where I had my biggest problems. The other stuff I thought was cool. Like you're right. I think the other stuff brought you through the game, and like all of it for me was story. Like and that's where I think this game comes down to. If
Yeah.
you're into the story and you're into like the whole idea of it, then you get into the voice acting, and you don't mind narrative stuff in VR to where you're not like, immediately action, 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 but you have a great story and a great narrative to pull you through. If you're okay with that and you get it and you get the humor, this game is for you. If you don't identify with the story and you don't get the humor, I can see where you're like, this game is not for me, just because the gameplay itself is not enough to carry it.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. It's all about the narrative here, and the narrative is awesome, and it's told very well in a very high production package. So I definitely recommend the title for those of you who are into narrative experiences in VR. I will put out a little caution though here, not the most comfortable experience. I went in immediately and turned all the comfort options off, which is something I do for every VR title. But I got to say, Roots, by the time I got finished with this one, like each play session with it, I had a headache. Like I had to put it down because I was not feeling good
Huh.
after driving this thing around for a bit. The turning's a little bit too slow. I didn't go so far as to turn the click turning back on, but the turning can definitely be a little bit more fast. And as I could say the same for the movement speed. A lot of the times for me, I feel like these studios slow things down because they think it's going to make it more comfortable. But for me, it's just the opposite. When things go too slow, that's when I start feeling weird. And I think that this game suffers from that.
Hmm.
What was your experience with it, Roots? Did you have any discomfort playing it?
I didn't feel any discomfort, but I mean that doesn't mean it wasn't there. It's weird that is what triggered it, but I guess that's like you said, anything that's different, anything that's outside the normal, what you're used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jasmine had the same thing. Jasmine, exactly what you said. She had to stop playing because she is prone to motion sickness, and she was trying to get through the story.
Hmm.
Again, this is a game that we're taking care of with a little bit for Impact Reality, and she was trying to get through the story, and she actually had to stop a couple of different times. Now she hadn't played VR in about a month because she was
Hmm.
on the road, and like I said, she is prone to motion sickness, and when you're out of it for a while, it's almost like you have to get your legs back again. And by the time she got going with it more, she felt better. But I think it's the thumbstick movement because they have the most of the turning and the straight all the movement is on the left thumbstick, and I think if they had
Yeah.
put the turn on the right thumbstick and kept the forward and back, or the accelerator, or however you wanna call it, on the left, I think it would've been better, and then maybe just increase the speed or allow you to increase your speed a little bit. But I think that was the biggest thing. Everything was on the left thumbstick, and it even didn't get me, but I could feel it. I could feel that there was something not right
Hmm.
when I was playing it
Right.
also. Yep.
Right. So, in fairness, I will point out that there are multiple control configurations that you can choose from, and is a full gamut of comfort options that you can choose from too. And I didn't try any of that stuff. I may be able to tweak this and make it a more comfortable experience, but I definitely could see where someone who's prone to motion sickness uh, and VR sickness might not be the most comfortable in this. And I'm not. I never have discomfort in VR, so
Hmm.
it's kind of weird. Even with all the stuff off, that I'm getting like eye strain and headaches and stuff playing this. Um, so yeah, just a word of caution there. Beyond that, I enjoyed this overall. I think it's a fair statement to say that this is the best produced title that came out on Quest this month. Stellaris gave it a run for its money, but this is high quality VR in terms of what you're looking at, what you're hearing, the storytelling, the animation, all that stuff is top notch here. Um, the question is, guys, does what is essentially a narrative experience, deserve to be game of the month? And um, when it comes down to it, I'm going to kick Peaky Blinders out based on most people's negative impressions of that. Arc and Aid, I did enjoy, but it's a bit bare bones, I feel like, stacked up to these other titles. So for me, it comes down to Guardians Frontline, Go Signal, and The Last Worker. Roots, do you think that's a fair statement?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Although there's only one there that really, well, two, I guess, that would like be on the list, but I didn't
Eric?
being. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to, Eric, do you think it's fair to narrow it down to those three titles?
I agree. I mean, our Arcade is great. Like, I think everybody should go play it. It's a title everybody should go play. But I think you got the three that are probably the best games this month.
So Roots, I was sorry to interrupt you there, but so we have The Last Worker, which again, calling it Game of the Month, we're using the term game pretty loosely with this one, but it is technically a game. Again, the highest production value, I would say, of anything that came out on Quest 2. Um, exceptionally high production value, like surprisingly high. But in terms of gameplay, I feel like Ghost Signal and Guardians is really the question here. And I think that this is going to very much be a personal experience. What do you think? What's your game of the month this
Ah,
year?
well, being that I haven't been in either one of those, I recently anyway, I'd have to go with Ghost Signal just from the response of the community. How many people I've literally heard people say that that's like could be their game of the year, which is crazy to me. It's not my type of game, but not every game that's going to be game of the month is going to be a game that I would play normally. And, you know, I think it definitely is
See,
up there.
this is where I'm hung up, Eric, because if we put The Last Worker aside, and I'm not sure that we should even do that because again, there's a lot to like about that. But if we put that aside and we look at Guardians versus Ghost Signal, we've got Ghost Signal, which is definitely a better produced game. Like it's definitely um, more polished visually, sound, all that. Um, but again, we've got Ghost Signal, which I would say is not a game for everyone. I feel like a game like Guardians has much more mass appeal, and for what it's worth, appeals to me a little bit more. Like I haven't played enough of either of these. I've only played them a little bit over the last uh, less than a week. Um, but if you ask me, which one am I going back into to play for fun, I'm probably going to pick Guardians. Um, even though it is a bit indie, I feel like the genre suits me better. So what do you think? What's your game of the month here for Oculus Quest?
Yeah, I think it's super easy to grab Guardians because it's a multiplayer game too, right? So you get the great gameplay that they've done. There's real time strategy involved with setting your bases up and putting things on the battlefield to help you out. Then you get the first person shooter stuff, which is really good and well done. They've really improved it. There's not a ton of story here, which is okay, but it's the multiplayer and that usually wins it. So normally I would be like, it's a shooter, it's multiplayer. I'm 100% going to Guardians. I'm not. I would put it as a distant third for me because I'm going to say the story here outweighs anything that I've done so far. So I would put Area Area Man Lives. I was thinking Area Man Lives, and that's the reason I say that is because I think this game could have been screwed up really, really bad. Because I think this has a lot of Area Man Lives. This Last Worker has a lot of Area Man Lives vibe to it, and that was one of the games that we really look forward to. And they screwed it up so badly that it made me nervous for this game. So when The Last Worker came out and I really got into the story, I was really pleasantly surprised. That's why I put this up at number two. And to me, Stellaris is number one. It's different. It's different than any game that you're going to find on the Quest 2. And man, I can't wait to see if they put this on their platforms. But it's just different, and you have to give this game a chance. If you like roguelites in any way whatsoever, this game is awesome. It looks beautiful, and some of these huge boss battles are great. The controls can be a little bit finicky, but once you get them and you figure them out, it's so good, man. And I want to keep. This is one of those games where I want to keep going back into, and I think most people will have a good time in this game if they give it a shot. So this is my game of the month, but I would put Last Worker as number two.
Wow. So see now that's ah that
Nice,
that's
I made it harder for you.
you made it harder for me, yeah, because I don't know, like honestly, which one am I probably going to finish? It probably would be The Last Worker, but it's just because I'm so into the story. It's not because I want to go back and actually play it. Um, and again, if I'm picking just on gameplay, I'm picking Guardians all day, and that's just based on my single player experiences. I'm sure it's a blast with with friends. Um, so I don't know. I think if I had to be honest, I think I would probably make Guardians my number one, and and probably make Stellaris my number two, just based on the fact that The Last Worker is more of a narrative experience than a game. Um, Although I'm probably going to go back to The Last Worker before I go back to Stellaris, to be quite honest. So I don't know. I'm going to vote for Guardians, and I think we're going to have a situation here where we have a winner and a significant runner up here because. Um, for what it's worth, the chat agrees with me. 56% of people in the chat voted for Guardians. Ghost Signal coming in second. But what we're going to do here is we're going to call Ghost Signal the winner, I think, because the two of you guys voted for it. And we're going to call Guardians the runner up. And basically, what that means is a tie. It's a tie. So basically, when we choose a runner up, the runner-up gets nominated for Game of the Year as well. So what this basically does is it gives us the rest of the year to put some more time into these titles, and then at the end of the year, they'll both be on the list and both be considered for Game of the Year. And that way, we can be sure that we make the right choice. Again, Game of the Month is only a nomination process for Game of the Year, and both titles will be nominated at this point. Roots, do you think that's a fair approach to take here?
I do. I think it's a fair approach, and I think that no adventures, no journey is the same, according to this Stellaris trailer. I want to go in there now and check it out because I think that the gameplay looks intriguing enough to me, and to listen to Eric talk about how it's like grabbed him makes me think there's more to this game than I think. And I think both games are good.
It's a game. It's a game that, and this is a hallmark of any great roguelike. It's a game that the more time you spend into it, the more you're going to get hooked into it. So, like at first, you're going to be like, I don't know about this. But by the time you get through your second run, you're like, okay, I kind of see it now. And then by the time you get to the end of your third run, you're like, okay, do I have to quit playing now? I want to do another one. So yeah, it's definitely got all the hallmarks of what makes a great roguelike game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Eric, do you think that's fair to we call Stellaris the winner, but then give Guardians a runner-up spot?
I would. The only thing I would say is like out of the people who voted, I'd like to know how many people actually played Stellaris. Like, you know, Guardians has been around for a while, so like the amount of people that probably played Guardians is probably way higher than the people who actually played Stellaris. So I get it. If you've played one over the other, I just wish that I would say this: go out and play Stellaris. Give it a chance. It's cheap. It's only $20.
It's there's a free demo. You can play for 30
Yeah.
minutes for
Oh
free.
my
That's it.
God.
Go play the demo.
There you go.
Go play the demo because I really, really think the more you try this game, or if you do try this game, it would hook you. Now, I guess, look, if you're not like a sci-fi fan, or if you're not a roguelite fan, you're like, I just hate that kind of
Strategy. If you're
game.
not into strategy, you might not dig it because
But
the
freaking,
whole thing is strategy.
but coolness factor. I mean, this is a cool game, man. There's a lot to this game. It looks beautiful. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's different than anything you're going to play that I can see out there. For on the Quest 2 for sure. So I think it's definitely fair the way we did it. I'm glad that we're giving Stellaris a chance because I do think if we revisit this later on and more people have played this game, I think the voting would be different.
Well, again, Stellaris is the winner. I'm naming it the winner.
Oh,
We're
was it?
naming
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we went the other way.
No. I'm just
Mash.
nominating Guardians for a runner-up position.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we went with the
Stellaris is
chat.
winner.
I got you.
Mash.
No, at the end of the day, it got at the end of the day,
Daddy.
Go Signal got 2 votes from the hosts, and for what
Oh, right. That's right.
that
We're better.
kind of
We're
weighs
better than
heavily.
chat.
Yeah.
We're better than chat.
Yeah.
What do we
right.
think? We're better than chat?
This is
man
not a
legitimately
democracy.
thinks that he is better than us.
I forgot Roots voted it. That's right.
Yep. Yeah, this is not a democracy. We take what you what you have to say into consideration. But at the end of the day, it's our show, bitches.
Yeah,
We're gonna pick what we want.
we're doing it.
Anyway, for what it's worth, I agree with what Eric's saying here. Everyone should try Guardians, or not Guardians, but Ghost Signal out, as it is, at least for a limited time, part of the try it for free program on the Oculus Quest store. So everyone should go check it out now. I guarantee that at the very least, you're going to be impressed with how the game looks.
Be careful though. Ryan Brandon says if you use the trial, you can't get a referral code for your friends.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That's
really?
stupid.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Damn, that's dumb.
Yeah,
Why would they
it's
do
really
that?
stupid, right? It's like, do you want a way to dissuade people from getting the free trial version? There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's how to do it. No one go try the trial because you're not going to be able to get your referral bonus from it.
How do you know if you
Anyway,
want to refer it if you don't try it? I'm in a pickle here.
there you go. There you go. Anyway, let's move along to PlayStation VR 2, our favorite VR headset of all time, PlayStation VR 2. We love it so much. Interestingly, Roots, we're coming out of talking about The Last Worker, a narrative experience which loosely qualifies as a game. And we're starting off by talking about Before Your Eyes, which is a interactive narrative experience which loosely qualifies as a game. I feel like, and we did cover this on the Wednesday show a couple weeks ago, and we both really enjoyed it. I think that everything we said about The Last Worker, a lot of what we said about The Last Worker, applies here even more so. Technically qualifies as a game, but not a whole lot of gameplay with this one, right?
No, but I really enjoyed it. If I had to choose which one I enjoyed more, this one definitely I really resonated a little bit more with. I really felt like it just it actually tugged at my heartstrings. You know what I mean? Like the whole story. I felt like I was a part of it, and that's hard to get with a movie or experience.
Did you guys cry? Seriously,
no.
I did catch a little bit of Virtual Strangers on Wednesday, but not the whole thing. And I missed your review of this game, so I know Brian Paul said he actually cried. Did you guys cry?
I didn't, but I think hearing that, hearing from a lot of people that they cried playing this beforehand kind of prepared me for it emotionally a little bit. Like I knew something was going to hit me in the feels, and I definitely did feel it.
Yeah,
but I don't think I cried. Maybe I did a little bit.
I didn't cry. I did have a couple moments where I found that something had gotten in my eye, and I kind of had to get it out of there, but there was no real actual tears. It was a good story. I really was. When I finished watching it, I was glad I did. And I can't say that for every experience I go into for VR to talk about. So
I really enjoyed the eye tracking mechanic on it and how blinking kind of moves you through reliving your life. And there are parts of this you want to hold on to and you don't want to move on from. And then the game does something that kind of hits you in the feels a little bit. You start blinking and then your life just passes by, which I think Roots is a pretty cool metaphor, right?
yeah, time flies. You blink and you turn around and everything's different and you're grown up, and there's moments you're trying to revisit memories, and I just thought it was done so well, and I can see why people got attached to this game even with just flat with eye tracking or with a camera, because that is a different aspect I've never really experienced. I feel like this game did the don't blink a little bit better than Switchback, only because Switchback was not, it was like such a spotty thing of where they did it. Whereas this, I legitimately didn't want to blink, and there was a couple times where I did, and I was like, "Fuck, man," because I wanted all the story. You know what I mean? Like, because it'll keep going for a while in most scenes, so it was definitely cool.
Eric, did you have a chance to play Before Your Eyes before you hit the road?
I didn't, unfortunately. No. I checked a little bit out of Brian's playthrough and what he kind of like. He did a review on it, so I watched a little bit of his video just so I could get a feel for it. And I'm looking forward to this one. I am not just a shooter fan. Like I like all games and experiences as long as they're good. And there's been several games that have affected me over the years. In an emotional way. Wolves in the Wall being one of them. That I think I did cry during that game at some point, or at least had some serious emotion. So to me, I think virtual reality and doing something like this where they're super immersive and they can bring you and make you feel things that you're not normally apt to feel in a video game, I think is a great thing. I think it's a healthy thing, and I hope it's good. I want to play it really bad or experience it.
Definitely recommend here a deserving nominee. And if you're into narrative experiences, you should probably pick this one up. Only $15 exclusively on PlayStation VR 2. Anyway,
Could they ever do this game without the blinking? So like somebody was saying,
sure.
I want this to come to the Quest, and like, is that even possible without eye tracking?
It would land differently. It would land differently for sure if you were pressing buttons to move through it, because it would lose that whole aspect of time getting away from you. It would be more of a. I mean, that's kind of the whole gameplay of it is through the eye tracking. It wouldn't have any kind of game aspect to it if it weren't for that.
Yeah.
You could do it because the story's good enough, but it would
Should you
definitely
do
be
it? I don't know.
yeah. Anyway, we move on from one PSVR 2 exclusive to another as the Dark Pictures Switchback VR released a week later. $40 for this one, and I have a lot to say here because we had a lot of great games that came out this month, and criticism aside of Switchback VR, I feel like it kind of got a rough deal here this month because expectations were so
Mm.
high for this. When it wasn't perfect, I feel like a lot of the reviews came off as negative, and then now we have a lot of people who aren't reviewers that are just repeating the negative things that they heard during reviews, and people came away with the general impression that didn't play the game that this game isn't as good as it is. Roots, we had a lot of stuff come out, a lot of great games that came out this month. I didn't put any more time into any game this month than I put into Switchback VR. I've played through this game enough that, like, if I had done it in a linear fashion, I would have played through the game 3 times by now. Like, I've played it that much, and I love it. It's so much fun, and I definitely feel like it's getting a raw deal here in the review cycle.
It's blurry. No, just kidding. What's funny is I just went into it the other day, and before I went the right track, I completely started going left and realized it's completely different areas, right? Like I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my God, this is all new. So there's so much track to this, so much more than you would think. And it's exactly what you want. It's a horror game on a roller coaster, and it's really good. It looks phenomenal, and the only time that the blurriness that is there at all really bothers me, it's like when I'm in the train, the cutscene trains, and you're trying to look at things around there. I'd like real crispness, but as far as when I'm going through and I'm shooting stuff, I think it looks good. I don't know really. Everyone is getting hung up on it, I think. So
yeah, yeah. When I went in to finish this game last week, I'm looking around and I'm like, did they patch this game or is it just better than I remember? They didn't announce a patch for it. I didn't see any update on my hard drive. But when I got in there looking around, I'm like, where are these bad visuals that people keep talking about? This game looks awesome. And it does. Now, you know, this is probably a discussion for another day. If you want to put this against Rush of Blood, there are definitely things that I liked about the gameplay in Rush of Blood a little bit better, but there are things I like about this a little bit better as well. Uh, Eric, there's a lot more game here. I mean, there's a lot more game here. There's more track variability. There are more aspects to this game than just the shooting. Um, there's a lot more here that would spur replayability than a game like Rush of Blood, which is probably about half as much content as what you have here in Switchback.
This is shit. How dare you compare it to Rush of Blood?
I can't believe you haven't played this yet, Eric. What is
I
happening?
have no
How
idea.
is this still
Seriously.
a thing? Eric's not tried this game. What is going on?
Yeah, this is killing me. This is like the one where I'm like, I cannot just. I mean, well, as soon as I found out the release date of this, I was like, I'm not going to be home for weeks. I'm not going to be able to play this game. This was one of the ones where we were like, please get us a copy as early as you can, just so I can play this thing, even if I can't talk about it. And I just never got it. And yeah, I still haven't played it. And You know, this is one of the ones I really, really want to get into because it's all over the place. You know what I mean? And some people hate it, some people love it, and I just want to see for myself, man. I can't wait. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot I could say on this one.
Looper the Underground
Yeah.
Game Cat says he thinks the blurry cutscenes are what made everyone think the whole game is blurry, themselves included. And that's what I was just noticing myself the other day, that when I was just looking around in the cutscene, that's really the only time that I'm looking around and I'm thinking, man, it just doesn't look as clear as it could, and you're trying to see what's happening, and there's blood dripping and fire and a guy walking around, and people doing
Yeah, the
weird stuff.
cutscenes are a little bit overdone here. I would say the pacing isn't the best with that regard. But again, it gives me a minute to hit my vape pen and make sure that there's no one close to me. Like it didn't detract too much from my experience. Um, it's a great game, and I still recommend it to anyone who is a fan of Rush of Blood. I think you're going to love this game. And again, there's a lot more here. I've played through every level at least 3 times, as I mentioned before, some of them even more, and I will be back. I have finished the game. The last level of the game kind of remixes some of the areas from earlier levels,
Really?
and the choices that you make earlier in the game determines your path through the last level. So like in the earlier levels you have junction points that you get to pick which way you go. In the last level you don't get to pick. What the choices that you made earlier in the game determine your path. So it gives you a reason to kind of go back and play through it again and make different choices so that when you play that last level you get to see the rest of the game. um, with that said, I think I'm going to wait a little while and give D some time to catch up. Um, and when
I,
D catches up a little bit, maybe we'll get back in there.
I was just gonna say you better check your scores again, Wes, because I beat every score myself. No, just kidding.
What?
I don't even know that I beat anybody's scores. I'm afraid to look. I did try to shoot some more stuff than last time, and I'm like, man, I got a killer score, but I guarantee it's probably like half of what Wes's is.
D
Yeah,
has a
well,
great idea. I should stream this on Saturday and beat all West's scores.
yes.
I think you should. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think she said the beat Wes's scores part, but I
Go for it.
agree.
Go for it, bro. Go
You
for it.
could you could name it. You know what you could do? You could declare you're going to beat all Wes's scores, and every time that you beat a score, you donate a game or don't something
Oh, that's a good
something
idea.
big.
I do a shot.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's what I would suggest to you. If you want to enjoy this game, um, play it for progress before you play it for leaderboards,
Mm.
because it's a different gameplay style.
Mm.
It's not like Rush of Blood where you just playing the game is going to put you up on the leaderboard. This is a game that you have to play differently if you want to score a lot of points. You have to shoot a lot of wooden crates and plates and bottles and just bullshit that kind of
Hmm.
detracts away from like the scenery and some of the monsters and things. It kind of keeps some of the scary stuff from landing if you're just thinking about scoring points. So I would say the first time you play through this, you should just put it on the nightmare difficulty right off the top and play the game for progress. And then after you get through that, go back and see if you can chart on the leaderboards.
If you really want to
I'm
do it right, Eric, you should do it a stream back to back. Rush of Blood.
with Rush of Blood.
Yeah.
Ooh, I could do that.
That way you're like kind of going from one game to the next.
I definitely
Mm,
think this is an episode in the making, like a discussion that we need to have after this game has had time to mature and everyone gets
Marinate.
their time in it and everyone has an opinion on it. I think this is something that we need to revisit maybe in October and kind of revisit Rush of Blood, play Switchback, and then compare directly in a discussion on Wednesday night.
we
Yeah.
could do a side by side stream.
Oh
You
my
play
God.
Rush of Blood, and I'll play Switchback.
I think that'd
We
be
could do it
good.
on a Wednesday show or something.
That'd
Yeah,
be good.
I like it. I like it. People
D
think that this game's blurry. Wait till they see Rush of Blood.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. I don't
Wait
think
till they go through
people.
that screen door.
I don't think people remember Wes. They've forgotten. D says, she needs to pick your brain, Wes. She's stuck it apart, and I think Void Spaced Innocent has the solution. And anytime I got stuck in this game, just blink.
Just blink,
Usually,
yeah.
yeah. Usually, there's something that needs to happen. And if you blink several times, then all of a sudden people are moving across the room, and then they're in your face.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Yeah. There are areas in the game where you have to blink, but it doesn't tell you. Like it doesn't tell you, which is weird because they tell you don't blink in those early parts, and then you can't progress until you blink, which is weird because it said don't blink and I didn't, and then I just sat there. So you have to blink. But then later on in the game, there are other blinking areas where they don't tell you anything. And there was one or two of them where I just got stuck. Like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? And that's what it was. I had to blink.
I
So
never
I would,
felt that way before your eyes. I felt like I felt like their don't blink was done so well. And it was very, very well known what to do.
yeah, agreed. Anyway, I love this game, and I recommend everyone who likes zombie shooters and wave shooters, rail shooters, roller coasters, all that stuff, play it. Don't just you know overly focus on the things that keep the game from being as good as it could be. Pay attention to what's here, and there's a lot here to like. And it would be a shoe in for Game of the Month. I feel like Roots, if it weren't for the fact that The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution launched on PSVR 2 this month. It also launched on PC. But I'm pretty confident in saying here that this is the definitive version of one of the definitive games in the VR library. This game is fucking awesome on PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah, I have yet to have a PlayStation VR2 game utilize the haptics and in it as much as I feel like they've done in this one. So much so that it's completely separated this version from the other two versions, from that alone, right? And then of course the colors, the darkness, all of that. But for me, it's the haptics and just how amazing everything feels in VR in the controllers.
Everything looks great. Everything feels amazing. Um, Eric, everything that we like about the first game has been expanded upon. The way, there's a lot of debate here about from people about whether or not this is just um, a large DLC or this is a true sequel. Now, in some aspects, the DLC argument has merit because the art style is the same. They reuse a lot of the maps and a lot of the character models and things like that. Um, but in terms of gameplay and storytelling, even they expand a lot on the gameplay play from the first. One of the criticisms from the first, as deep as it was, there were things that it was lacking, and I feel like they've made some steps in that direction here to add a little bit of depth of gameplay to it. Um, if the first is arguably the best VR game of all time, then I don't see how this can't be part of that conversation because I'm not sure. I haven't finished this game yet, but I put enough time into it to know that I'll be surprised at the end of it if this isn't better than the first one for me. Like I'm really, really, really enjoying this. What's your experience in this been so far?
Yeah, so again, I haven't played it because I have haven't had my PlayStation VR 2 in over a month. So I have not played it, but I did do my homework on this one. I've watched everybody's coverage of this game, and I know the game because I played it on Quest, I played it on Steam. Um, and yes, I did play it on Steam because we've had the Steam version for over a month. I played it almost 2 months ago. The Steam version. I played quite a bit into that version because I stopped playing the Quest version because it was so bad. Um, so I know the game, and everybody is telling me that by far this is the best way to play the game, and all people that I respect their opinions. So for me, the game is great already because again I played the Steam version and the Steam version was amazing. And if this is better than the Steam version, I don't know how this isn't Game of the Month. This is probably one of the best games you'll ever play, period. And I think this is definitely a sequel. The whole idea of like this is DLC is, I mean, to me, graphics does not make have to be a sequel. You don't have to have different graphics to have it be a sequel. It just has to be markedly better, more interesting stuff. And there's a ton more weapons here. There's a ton more different characters here. The whole storyline is different. You have boss battle here, which you did not have before. To me, I think this is definitely a part two and not a DLC. And from what I've played of it, it's amazing. And if it's better on this is the best version to play it on. I cannot wait to get into this one, man.
Roots, we have expanded crafting here with two more different categories to progress. in terms of items and upgrades for your character. We have new levels, new areas of New Orleans that you can visit. We have the same type of multifaceted narrative going on here with main plots and subplots going on. You're able to play at night now and visit the maps twice a day versus once a day, and the game's completely different at night as you're using your UV light to hunt out special items and areas. There's the whole system of orders. So when you visit a map at night, you'll encounter individuals who need things, and they'll give you an order. And then the next time you visit that map at night, if you bring them the stuff that they need, they trade with you. So it's a whole new aspect of crafting and exploration. It gives you more reason to explore the maps and scavenge. Um, if we held the original game as the best game of all time up until now, I don't know how we can't talk about this as maybe being the best VR game of all time. Now, again, I haven't finished it. Maybe they just really muff it at the end, and the story just ruins it. But given my experience in the first game and what I've played so far of this one, I think this might be the best VR game I've ever played. Like, I'm really, really enjoying this, and again, expanded in almost every way from the first. So I think that while there's definitely an argument to be made here that maybe this is more like a DLC, to me, it's a full fledged sequel based on the expansion of the story and gameplay. What
Yeah.
do you think?
I don't think it's more of a DLC. I mean, I had aspects of it being the same, but it's completely different in every way. I mean, I even upgraded my bus, Wes. I don't even sleep in the bus anymore. I'm like got this huge
Ooh.
place to chill with a bunch of stuff down there. Yeah, I definitely think this game is a contender for game of the year, and it's ironic. The only thing that could have held it back is what held back the other versions, or at least the Quest version, was all the jank in the beginning, right? Which they're still ironing out. I still see bugs being fixed. But this one doesn't have all that stuff. This was, this was a breath of fresh air, and I was worried because the Quest version had so many issues that I was going to see it in this version. And I've said it before, there's so many games that we have out there that have came to PlayStation VR 2 that don't really utilize the haptics, but this one does. I can still feel the way that those blades go through those skulls. It's magical. So
Yeah. I absolutely love this game. I meant every word that I just said about it. I'm not over exaggerating it. And yeah, I know on Gamescast this last week, I kind of made it seem like there was a bit of a debate here on what should be game of the month, this or Switchback. But really, that was mainly because I feel like Switchback is getting undersold here, and it's not being given the credit that it deserves. But I meant what I said. I think that this is maybe the best VR game that I've ever played. Just in the spirit of being complete here and being thorough, The Last Worker again did come out on PSVR 2 this month. I don't think it really belongs in the conversation with Switchback and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners in terms of game of the month, though. Am I off base here, guys?
no, I played this version of it though, and it was really good. The colors did pop. I mean, everything about it that I said before still stands, but it is definitely not even close to Switchback or Saints and
Did you
Sinners.
notice? Did you notice, Roots, that leaving PSVR 2 for a minute and then coming back, that you kind of got that whole OLED pop all over again?
Yeah,
Because I definitely noticed it when I got out and played some Quest stuff. I played some stuff on PC. Then I came back to PSVR 2 and was like, oh, yeah, wow, this looks great.
what's crazy is I went over to both Quest and PC, and I thought, wow, the colors actually look pretty good. They're pretty bright in here. They look good. I don't know what was I like raving about. And then you go back to the OLED, and you're like, oh yeah, they
Oh,
were
yeah.
like even richer and darker and deeper on this.
Yeah.
Definitely pops for sure.
So, Roots, I'm going to go to you because you're the one that played this stuff. Sorry, Eric. I will give you a vote. Like, if Roots gets to vote on Quest games, you get a vote on PlayStation VR. But I'm going to start with Roots here again. I don't think there's any question what the game of the month is here. Again, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution for me might be the best game I ever played. Switchback definitely a deserving nominee, but there's just so much more in terms of gameplay depth with with the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners here. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, you're getting this complete story, and they've done everything about it right. It's definitely really good. I think it's game of the month for sure.
Yeah. Eric, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. The only question I have is it even plausible to give Switchback an honorable mention to see if they improve some of these visuals, or if that's or if visual, don't even bother. It's not even that big of a difference, and it's still probably not as good. But that would be my only question, just because I haven't played either one of them. I just don't know if Switchback deserves an honorable mention here to be even in the discussion for end of the year with this game.
I mean, we've given worse games honorable mentions before. That's for sure. Um, I don't think that the visuals hold it back enough to make up the gap between these two games. Uh, I think that if we were to get maybe some DLC with Switchback and get some more content, maybe then it enters the conversation. But I don't. I mean, again, it's our show. I don't think we have to give it a runner up here to put it in the conversation later in the unlikely
Hmm.
event that happens. So no, I don't think it really needs to be a runner up here. I think we have a clear winner this time, actually.
I'm definitely down for it as Saints and Sinners then.
But in the interest of being complete, let's see what the chat thinks about it. Let's start a poll here. PSVR 2 game of the month.
7. Isn't that the
And
answer?
Switchback.
7.
Switchback or TWDSS2. So let us know if you guys if Switchback gets some significant votes here, we'll make it a runner up.
Can we say this?
Hmm.
That all the people bitching that there's not enough stuff for the PlayStation VR 2 is completely full of shit. I'm just
That's
tired of hearing it.
crazy.
Tired of fucking hearing it, man. If you're coming at me going, there's just nothing to play, and it doesn't, they don't have a good enough library to me to warrant me going out and getting it. I think you're full of shit. Like I don't think you want to play virtual reality then.
What if you don't like horror games?
Well, that's the
Doesn't
thing. So
I don't
some
think that
people
matters.
can't
There's
play
still enough
scary
out
stuff.
there. I mean, this is 2 games. I mean, what about the other games we've got?
Well,
We got
3
GT7. You've got
GT7's kind of a horror game.
well, there's a ton more. What about the Star Wars game that is way better?
Here's a
on
problem.
PlayStation
Here's a
VR 2.
problem. I feel like a lot of Quest players that come over to PlayStation VR 2 didn't rebuy games that they had on Quest, when definitely the PSVR 2 version is better than the Quest version. And some of them you probably should buy. Um, so I think for a lot of people who are coming up from Quest saying I have nothing to play here, it's that's really factoring in heavily. Is one, they don't want to play scary games, and a lot of the best games are I mean most of the best games are scary games. And two, they don't want to replay Quest games that they already played when they maybe should. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I can think of 10 experiences that I've had on PlayStation VR 2 this year that are amazing right
Uh,
off the bat, and that's a month and a half.
I think that's the problem. If you're coming from having another platform already, and you own the game already, or you've tried it and you're not interested in getting another copy of it, then you could feel like you're limited. If you already own Star Wars Galaxy, and you already own Thumper, and you already own whatever it is, then you're looking at a handful of games. And if you also exclude horror games, then you really are looking at a couple of games. So I can see it in some people's cases, like Radio Run or something, but the idea that it's not going to ever change, like in the near future,
Yeah.
like that's what I think is naive. We've got games right around the corner. They may not be here, but they're coming. So
yeah. So we're definitely got some non-horror, big budget titles coming. It's just that a lot of the stuff in the early days has been scary stuff, which, by the way, I absolutely love, and I hope we never get any other games. I hope they're all
Yeah.
horror games.
Well, I mean, look at Skiva. Skiva is not a horror fan. He can't even get through the paranormal game, and he's played all the way through Resident Evil 8. So,
So Space Citizen says GT7 and Pavlov.
right.
Good points. Pavlov's
Yeah.
already on PC.
Yeah, so
You
that's
know
the
what I'm
thing.
saying?
If it's GG, if you're looking at strictly games that you can only play on PlayStation, there's a handful of them, you know, and I would include Resident Evil 8 as one of them because mods aren't quite the same. You can still play it on PC, but not natively.
Resident Evil 8 might, you know, I just said this about Saints and Sinners. I need to play more, but that might be the best game in VR. That might be the game of the year this year. But it's a
Yeah.
horror game. It's scary, so not everyone's going to want to play it.
Yeah.
Brandon
I think
says
you're
Zombieland.
severely limiting yourself. Yeah, Zombieland. But yeah, I know you can
Zombie
play that one.
Zombieland was completely remade for PlayStation VR 2. The version of Zombieland is completely unique. It's like a whole new game almost for PSVR 2. Also, though, scary zombies. Some people won't play it. See, we can do this on most of the titles that are out on PSVR 2 right now.
Right.
Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. I think we got it right here, guys. I think The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 2 is clearly the winner here. You know, for what it's worth, Switchback got 17% of the vote. So I mean, there are some people out there who see what I mean, that that game is definitely underrated. It's a great game. It's just I feel like Eric, that the same thing happened with Switchback that happened with PSVR 2. PSVR 2 people had hyped it so much that they expected it to be perfect. And when it wasn't perfect, people focused on the negatives and blew them out of proportion. I think the exact same thing happened with Switchback. Everyone expected it to be the hands down game of the year. When it had a couple of minor flaws, they got blown out of proportion because people weren't expecting it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, there's not much you can do about that, though, right? I mean, great games are going to be hyped, and if they're not 100% perfect, like, could this game have ever lived up to the hype? I don't think it could. I mean, there was so many people that were like looking forward to this game so much. I mean, if we see another Astrobot game, do we think that game is? Hopefully, it'll be as good, but I don't know. It's very rare when you see that game that you think is going to be so great and it ever lives up to the hype. It just doesn't happen that often, and when they do, they're all-time classics.
And that's
We're,
the difference between AAA and not AAA. Usually, if it's true AAA, it's gonna live up to the hype. It may not for everybody, and sometimes on launch they've got it rough. But usually, if it's true AAA, it's gonna be phenomenal. And you just don't see that in VR across the board yet. It just isn't there. So
I mean, like you said, even The Last of Us 2 just didn't live up to it, right? The story was not anywhere near as good as the first one, most people say. So, or there was just things that people didn't like. So,
right.
it happens. It's just that the odds of you catching fire and being, better than the first usually are extremely, extremely hard. And like you said, those are true classics when they are.
You just got to get the gameplay right, and there can't be a bunch of bugs, game breaking bugs, because that's what kills games. Like even Vertigo 2 had a couple of game breaking bugs, but he fixed them so fast that they weren't game breaking. They were for a few people for a few hours. That's what devs should be doing, and this is one fucking guy. So devs need to get their shit together and stop blaming everybody else. Start looking in the mirror. You decide how good and your launch is going to be. Do you release a game that's not finished and then act like, oh my god, what's happening? Well, you blew it.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about in the beginning. Don't give us reasons. Don't give us extra reasons to shit on your game. You know what I mean? Like, fix the small things that people are going to nitpick, and then the other things aren't as bad. You know what I mean? So,
well, okay.
anyway,
Yeah, Looper says that Walking Dead Saints and Sinners has game breaking bug with saves. I have not run into that, but they need to fix that.
They fixed that. They did
Okay.
fix that.
Good.
Unless this is a different bug than what I'm thinking of. But the last update that came out a few days ago fixed a crashing bug with certain saves after a certain point.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. Anyway, moving along. Let's get to PCVR now. Now here's the interesting thing, and the reason why I did a poll at the top of the show, asking people what they would have guessed would have the strongest month of the three platforms overall. So we had Quest 2 that had a strong month. Typically, if I had to guess, if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, which platform had the best March, I would have said probably first PSVR 2. And then I don't know about Quest. Quest had a lot of launches, but PCVR has the quality with Vertigo 2. So it would have been kind of a toss up beyond that. So Quest 2 had a lot of launches. PSVR 2 had a lot of launches. PCVR had stuff from both. So really quickly, PCVR, and I'm not going to spend any more time talking about these games, but PCVR also had Arcanade. PCVR also had Guardians Frontline. So those are your Quest your Quest nominees there. PCVR also had The Last Worker. PCVR also had The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution. So here are 4 of the nominees from the other platforms, 4 of the more stronger nominees from the other platforms. And now we move along into stuff that you can only play on PCVR. PCVR is the only platform that has 6 nominees this month. And like I said before, if you go on the Steam and look at some of the indie games you've never heard of, some of that shit looks good too. Maybe it's not, but it looks like there's some good stuff on there. I think PCVR had the strongest month this month. And
Absolutely.
that's very surprising because it typically is not the case, especially lately. So yeah, PCVR is the winner this month for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Aside from all those indies, if it wasn't for a couple titles on PC, I wouldn't consider it a stronger month, but it was the quality of the titles that put it over the top, in my opinion.
So from The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution, just quickly I'll say on that pretty much almost everything that we said about the PlayStation version applies here. This is a great version of this game as well. Missing some of the tactile feedback of the PlayStation version. Obviously, you don't get the OLED benefits. Most of us won't get the OLED benefits in the night sections that we get on PlayStation VR 2. But a very comparable version. And when I say that, I feel like this game might be uh, the greatest VR game ever. That means this version too. It's great and definitely a deserving nominee. But let's look at what else that it has to contend with. First of all, there's Ghost of Tabor, which launched into early access last week. And Eric, obviously, we're going to disqualify this based on early access, as we have done many times before. But I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the success that this game is seeing at this already very early stage. We don't see indie games come out and have this kind of success on Steam. It's really unprecedented, in my opinion.
This game is a unicorn. These things don't happen very often, and it's an imperfect, flawed game, and it's still probably my game of the month on this platform if we were going to vote for it, because it's just that freaking good, man. And just watch this game. Like if you're not a fan and you don't want to go through the bugs, I get it. There's a lot of people that just don't want to. They want to wait till they're perfect. And definitely, if you're that way, don't play this game. Wait, but just keep an eye on it. And when it's ready, we'll let you know. But I'm having more fun in this game being flawed and having to go through issues and problems than I am almost in any other game. And when this thing is done and we get the maps that we're going to get, and we have everything we're going to have in here, it's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to vote on it then, because that's when it's going to be truly amazing. But Ghost of Tabor, I've never seen anything. I've never seen a game take off like this. Like there's as many people that are pissed off at it that as almost that are like happy with it. It's so weird. You get to see it firsthand too, Wes.
Reviews are overwhelmingly positive, and so many people bought into this game in the first week that it's charting on Steam, which is crazy for an indie VR game. I mean, that's nuts. Roots, in spite of the bugs, unprecedented attention to detail in a VR game here. Like so many small details in this stuff you can't do in any other title. And I think you've said this on multiple points before. There's enough here already that you can see what the game's going to be, and that's got a lot of people excited.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, because you can see exactly what this game is gonna be, and when it will be, when it has, like, even Tarkov doesn't have all their maps done. They're still working on it, and they've been working on this game for 5-6 years or however long it's been. I enjoy the hell out of that game, and this game is no different. It's just a little bit further behind. It'd be like if I came on to Tarkov after I'd been around a year or two. And so I'm excited to see. I'm hoping that they implement a little bit more, like in the bone breaking and stuff, like splints and all this. But I mean, how far do you go? That's the question. Can it, you can go too far in VR. But that's one of the best parts about, Tarkov is one of my worst memories is like walking off in the dark off of a scaffold and breaking my legs and trying to make it out, right? And actually making it out and bitching at everybody. Let's go. What are you doing? Like I'm having to fucking crawl out of this place. So cool. And that's why this game is doing so well. It's the concept and they're nailing it. And so I hope they continue to nail it. And I think they will. So just a matter of time.
You know what surprises me about this game, Eric, is, on paper, I would look at a game like this and say, this isn't for everybody. That's going to have a very limited group of very passionate players. But this is a hardcore game. It is not easy. Um, some people would say that there's too many details at play here, and that they would prefer to play something that's a little more simple, and that they don't have to think so much about so many different things. And beyond that, I mean, you're just looting to loot pretty much. It's not like you're playing through a campaign or anything. You're looting to build up your supply base, and at the end of the day, they're going to take it all away from you anyway when they wipe the servers. So I would say on paper, I would look at this and say this is a game that's not for everybody. But with that said, I am shocked. I'm shocked at just how many of these hardcore gun nut players that there are out there, because obviously they're coming out in droves to play this thing already.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a diverse game. Like you have your first person shooter fans, you have your gun fans. I mean, you have your realistic military shooter fans. I mean, it's kind of all over the place, and you have your fans that are like they're people that are just love the inventory system and love doing the marketplace, and they're going to love doing the flea market and bartering and trading, so that's going to be a game in itself. And Roots, this is going to get closer to Tarkov than not. So some of those deeper things that you're talking about, running out of stamina in the game and having to bring in water and having to bring in food, and like being able, having different med kits and breaking limbs and having limbs get blacked out, needing surgical kits. Those are things we are going to see in this game. Like they are just literally just scraping the surface of what they're going to do. And then there's other maps. Like I've already seen the next map. Like I've already gone through it. I know what it looks like. It's going to be crazy. And the island map is already huge, and the next map is going to blow your mind as well. Wait till they get 7 maps before the end of this year. And then it's going to be like insane. So it's just tough to like put a finger on this. Again, this is early access, so we are seeing a ton of bugs and there's a ton of issues. But I can tell you this, they already added a new lead developer from another team. I mean, they're adding people all the time. I mean, they know what they have here. They're going to make it right. It's going to blow you away when it's finally done. And again, I guess if you hate like the wipe thing, and there are people out there that are just like, if I can't keep my stuff, forget it. But trust me, you need the wipes for 2 things: to fix big bug systems in the game and for competitive balance. You
Parity.
can't just
Yep.
you just can't keep going in a game like this to where you have every great player have the perfect gear all the time. You'll lose 90% of the time to these players. At least in the beginning, you'll have a chance to go get some good stuff early on and be competitive. And that's what you need. And that's why you need to wipe every, 3 to 6 months.
It reinvigorates the player base as well. And we've seen it in Tarkov where streamers or everybody, new wipe comes, everybody gets excited about it. Everybody's starting from scratch for that 5 minutes a time. You're equal to all the best of the best, and then they pull ahead and then they start killing you and taking your stuff. That's the biggest aspect that is missing in almost every shooter that people love, whether it was in the Division 1 and 2 or in games like Tarkov or like this. The fact that like there's a legitimate risk to your gear, like your good gun that you brought in, your prized possession or somebody else's prized possession, killing them and grabbing their shit and leaving with it feels really good. And so it's like an addictive feeling. Right now it's not so addictive when you're on the other side and somebody's stepping over your dead body with their with your gun on their shoulder, but That's just the way it works. So
Yeah. Anyway, again, as we often do with early access titles, we're not going to open this one up for voting because we haven't seen the best version of this game yet. And I'm confident that when this game does finally reach full release, that it will most likely win Game of the Month that month. But we're going to wait until then to see. It would have been stupid to ignore the success that this game has had already and the awesome state that it's already in just a couple weeks in after launching early access. So kudos to Combat Waffle and look forward to seeing more from this game. I look forward to this game launching on PSVR 2 later this year. That's going to be amazing in its own right.
I hope the guns
Um,
feel amazing. That's what's
Yeah.
gonna be
I'm
cool.
sure they will. But anyway, so here we are with this this unfamiliar um, space that we're in, where we have a game here that I'm hailing as possibly the best game of all time. What could possibly contend with that? Well, how about another game that might be the best VR game of all time? Why don't we talk a little bit about Vertigo 2 here? Um, a very different game than The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. And I feel like, Eric, that we're setting ourselves up to repeat game of the year
Mm.
from a few years back when we had Half-Life Alex versus The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 2. Here we have a better version of Saints and Sinners, right? With the sequel, in my opinion, at least so far, this is going to be a better game. But on the other hand, we have Vertigo 2 here, which is probably a better version of Half-Life Alex. Like I don't feel weird in saying that. Um, but you know, this game has uncommon level of adventure in it. I would say, like the story and the environments here are so diverse and off the wall. I don't know if I've ever played a more creative narrative driven game than this. I mean, this is really crazy. The weirdness factor here is through the roof.
When you get two polished games and they're so good and you have to start nitpicking, it just makes you nuts, right? Like I hate doing this. This is the hardest part, like when you're trying to
Yeah.
pick through these games. And yeah, this game is just different. It's so good, and you have to take in account that this is, one kid. You know what I mean? And to me,
Yeah,
that's a big part of this.
dude.
The game's amazing, and it's one dude, a kid, who did this. And
It's
I
crazy.
have to, you have to take those things into account. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like you said, PCVR had probably two of the best games. We didn't even think about it in the poll. You know what I mean? Nobody said PCVR. These are definitely two best games.
So we got everything that we like here, Roots, about Half-Life Alex. We've got what quadruple the weapons and devices in this game with a similar upgrade system. We have a much higher diversity with in terms of environments and enemies, and a similar level of polish in terms of production value. Am I being facetious here? Like this is one of the best VR games ever, is it not?
Yeah, this is what I was trying to tell Jim Hall the other night because he said I was saying outside of the Half-Life fanboy, you played it growing up. Half-Life Alex is you're in that world, and he's like, well, that's me because he's like a huge Half-Life fan, right? That was his number one game growing up. I said, Jim, Vertigo 2 is better than Half-Life Alex. Oh, come on, Roots, you can't say that. I said, dude, it's to me. This game has everything that I would want. Like it's like just the humor alone and the
I love the humor. The humor is like it's like a Justin Roiland game at times. It isn't as caked on. Like Justin Roiland never stops. This they pick their spots with it, but it's that kind of humor, right?
yeah, it's just very well thought out. It's witty humor and the story, the graphics, the fact that it's done by one person. And I've not once felt bored as I'm going through these levels. Like I'm intrigued. Like you said, adventure is a really good word. That's what I feel like. I'm on this really cool adventure in this bizarre world, and it's just done so well. Like these environments are amazing. even that jumping on the mine cart and going through, I thought that was super cool. So
The scale of these worlds that you're into is just nuts. Like, um, I mean, you could probably count on one hand, Eric, the vastness of some of these areas that you visit in this game. It's really incredible.
Yeah, I can't wait to play it on my PC, with my 3080 Ti. I've been trying it on my laptop, it's doable. It works and I can get it to go, but I'm on a small screen and I want to be on, I want to be like, you know, I want to see 3080 Ti Ultra all the way, you know what I mean? So I want to see the whole thing.
And then there's the lore roots. I mean, a very deep lore, so deep that it's hard to get your head around it, right? Because in between scenes, when you die, they start quoting scripture at you. That make you at all uncomfortable as a religious person that you're reading scripture about Apollyon? Like,
yeah,
it seems a
yeah.
little weird, right?
As far as I know, Polyon actually, I think, might even beat the devil. That's fine. They can believe what they want. I got my scripture. They got their scripture. I think it's definitely it's very intriguing, and like you said, the lore is very deep in this one, and it's just like I just came across the creature that wants me to find a spray bottle. I don't know that I've ever been sent to look for a spray bottle to get through a doorway that's talking to me, but it was a unique moment and super cool.
It's a unique moment in a game that's absolutely jam packed full of unique moments. And I think if I mean, we could go on and talk about this game for hours probably about all the different things that are just unique to this game. If I had to simplify it down and describe to someone who's a PCVR gamer who hasn't played this yet, what is this game like? I would say if you liked Half-Life Alex and found it to be a little too simple, and you liked Boneworks but found it to be a little bit too much, I feel like this game is going to be perfect for you because it adds a lot of layers that Half-Life doesn't have. It does everything that Half-Life does better, but it doesn't have that level of frustration with the overdone physics and things like Boneworks has. A lot of Boneworks vibes in this one, especially in some of the early levels, visually. Um, but it gives you a lot of what Boneworks gives you without that frustration of just being a little too much to have fun in.
Mm.
Like I feel like Eric that this game strikes the perfect balance between those two games, and then adds things that neither of them have in terms of just the kind of the lore and out there wild sci-fi adventure aspects of it.
uh,
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know in the chat if you miss anything. Scion wants to know if you miss anything if you skip Vertigo Remastered. Would you feel like you are lost?
No, no. Now this definitely is a continuation of that story, but it's so like far enough away from what happens in that game that really Vertigo is just a backstory for this game. Like it's
And
not. It's more. It's this game is more. This is the story, and Vertigo is just kind of like a prequel, I would say.
Do you
yeah,
think it's
they
worth 30
recap it
bucks?
too.
Yeah, that's true. They give you the option of having them kind of tell you the story of the first game as you're going through the intro of this one.
$30. Do you think it's worth it? $30 all day long?
I think that that's criminally underpriced. I think this is a $50 game, is what
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. This is
For sure.
This should
absolutely
have been this
triple A level.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If this game had the title of Half-Life, I mean, it would be $60 because of the game, because it's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is a underpriced game at $30. Like I think, you know, almost giving these games away at this price is like hurts the other games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here we have the situation, guys, where we have two of the best games of all time, maybe the two best games of all time, going head to head. One of them um, gives you this crazy adventure with a wide variety of you know it's they're different games. This is more of an arcadey pure shooter game where The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, it gives you just as much variety with the weapons and stuff, but it's more grounded in realism, and I would say has a pretty significantly deeper gameplay loop with much more facets to what you're doing than just running through and shooting things. Um, how do you pick? How do you pick one of these games? I think it's going to vary very much individual to individual. And with that said, I'm going to open up the poll to the chat, and I'm going to start with you, Eric. Where do you go on this? If you have to pick one of these as game of the month, which way do you go?
This is extremely hard for me. Like without finishing either one of them, which I think they deserve to be finished
Yes, yes,
before you
I
talk
will
about
finish.
them.
I will. I
I'll
haven't
finish
finished
both.
either one. I've played deep
Yeah.
into both of them. I haven't finished either one. I am going to finish both of these games.
Yeah, I'll absolutely finish both. I don't think I'll finish Saints and Sinners on this platform. I think I'll finish it probably on PlayStation VR 2, but
Agree.
I don't think that'll change my judgment because the PC version's amazing anyway. But yeah, it's tough for me to give this answer, and I think I'll probably end up. I hope we do a runner up here, and we have both these games, and I can make a better decision later on. But for I guess if I had to choose for right now, because I like the universe a little bit better, I'd probably go Walking Dead. But by the time I get through the end of Vertigo 2, it could completely change.
Roots. What do you think?
Crazy talk. I can't see myself not picking this game, Vertigo 2, man. It to me, it's just so much different and unique than, even though it's like Half-Life Alyx in a sense, it's so much more of what I want in a game. Like it really is. Like it's just unique. I haven't played anything like it, and it's one game I think about actually going back into these days. And I do want to get back in and finish this game. We'll finish the other one as well, but definitely would be this one, I think. Although the other one, Walking Dead's right up there behind.
If you would ask me 5 days ago where I was leaning Vertigo 2 until I played more of The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. Um, I think for me, as much as I love the weirdness and just fast paced, fun arcade style action in Vertigo 2, I think I prefer the horror vibe and the depth of gameplay and storytelling that I get with The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. I think that's the way I'm leaning on this one. But I don't think there's any loser here. So um, I think we're in a situation here, a very rare situation that we've only seen maybe once or twice before. For what it's worth, the poll overwhelmingly agrees with Roots. Vertigo 2, everyone says.
Mm.
I,
Well, we got to
I
go
don't
with
know.
what you two picked, though. That's the premise, right? We can put this at Vertigo 2 for me and everyone else as a runner-up.
Well,
I
well,
say I
here's
say we
the.
give them a tie.
Yeah.
We don't
Well,
ever
see,
give ties, but I would give it a tie.
that's what I was thinking. I think maybe one other time we've done a draw, and when we gave when we did the Quest 2 game earlier, it was stuff that we had a lot less time in playing, and you know what I mean. And you know, I don't know. I I feel like this could shift session to session with me. Like I'm that hung up on it. Like I'm not sure that I'm making the right choice here. So I don't know. Is it a cop out to just call it a draw here? Because, in effect, picking a winner and picking a runner up and then picking a draw,
It pretty
it
much
has
is
the
a tie.
same effect.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's nominating both for game of the year. And I do think we're going to be having this exact same conversation at the end of the year. But at
100%.
that point, we will have played completely through both games. Um, so I don't know. What do you think, Chad? Is calling it a draw here a bit of a cop out, or warranted? I feel like it's warranted here. I feel like we have games that are so equally matched at this point in the game. Um, I'm kind of leaning toward giving it, just calling it a draw. Both both games winners at this point.
I agree too. I think it gets very rare that you get the quality of these type of games, and I think when they do, they think they deserve to be played through the entire thing. Because I think the longevity of the experience and the complete experience, especially when you're talking about story driven games like both of these pretty much, but more in Saints and Sinners, I think it deserves to be played through when you get to this high quality. You know, like some of the other games, I don't think they deserve to be played all the way through, especially some of the ones that are, just a little more monotonous. So here, I think with the level here, I think it deserves it.
I almost want to change my vote because if I just saw a recommendation from Upload saying it is like the top game of the year, and I'm like, man, am I really agreeing with Upload here, or what is happening?
Yes, you are.
Damn it!
You
All
think they'll
right,
go from
so-
What the Bat to Vertigo 2 for Game of the Year?
Maybe.
Or 2020?
I don't think that. Well, I want to say I don't think they'll ever do that again, but I don't have faith. I think maybe they will do it again.
Well, their PlayStation VR 2 list in order put What the Bat like 11 or something for top 20.
So here's where we are. I feel like a draw's the right move here, but I don't want people who've sit 2 hours here to feel shortchanged. So I'll put it to the chat. If you guys think that we're off base and you want us to pick a winner, well, and you hold our feet to the fire, we will. But I think a draw's the right call. Roots, I mean, are you good with calling it a draw this month?
Yeah, absolutely. Scion says it's a mute point that Firmament is going to be the game of the year. It's very possible.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Firmament's out in like what about 6 weeks?
That's crazy.
Coming out. Yeah, finally. Anyway, it seems like most people in the chat are okay with us going with our gut here. 76% of the people say we call it a draw. And basically what we're doing here is we're just kicking the can down the road. Like we're going to have to revisit this conversation in December, I'm quite sure. If we have games this year that kind of hang with these, and Village might be another one. Village absolutely could be another one. Gran Turismo could be another one.
Crossfire and Firewall.
Crossfire is going to be amazing.
Crossfire is going to be good. I don't think it's going to be this caliber of a game, but I could be wrong about that.
The
What about
gameplay
Breachers?
has got a chance.
Breachers, I'm just kind of taking people's word on. I mean, looking at footage of it, it looks fun. But I'm trying to keep my expectations in check with Breachers because
Everybody says it's the
feel
best game ever.
I know that's my
That's the
my
problem.
is
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got people telling me that like if I put 180 plus hours into Ghost of Tabor, that I'm gonna like this as much that I'll probably have equal to 180 200 hours in a couple of months in this game. And Breachers, it's that good.
If you get
So,
the
I'm
right
curious.
team that you're playing with, absolutely. It's a very strategic, game where if everybody's on a roll, everybody's doing their role and you're kicking ass, I could see it being a big game.
Looper the Underground Gamecat says Light Brigade. Light Brigade's great. If it wants to be in the conversation with these games, it's going to need more content. Like I think the thing that really hurts Light Brigade is that you can run it pretty quickly once you figure out how to play it right. Like,
Give me one more boss. Give me one more level.
There's a lot of room for growth, like with the progression. I want the game to make me have to progress, like because I don't have to right now. I can take the rifle and pretty much run the game. So make it so that I have to unlock the other character classes to make it through the later levels that we don't have yet. Like at that point, then maybe we're talking about that as a game of the year contender as well.
It should have
been. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say they should have had more levels. You shouldn't be running through the same levels with the same classes. Even though I get it, it's at the same time it's it would give you so much more replayability, or like Wes just said, feeling like you have to go through these levels to unlock it, right? For something in the future. So.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, when you ask them how many levels is in the game, they always answer 3 at this time.
Yeah,
at
right.
This time. So I think we might have more coming down the road from that, which will be a welcome addition. Anyway, as I was saying a moment ago, if we get more games this year that are on this caliber, then it'll be the best year that we've ever seen in VR. And
that's what I was just gonna say when I was gonna say that it's April. It's not even all the way to the end of April. It's mid-April, and we've had probably one of the best couple of months I've seen in VR gaming. And we have a lot more that we think is going to be amazing coming. So I can't even imagine what we're going to see in the fall.
So 74% of the people in the chat say that it's the right call to push this conversation down the road. We'll call both of these games winners, and we will pick up this conversation in December as we discuss Game of the Year. But I think we're doing the right thing. I think both of these games are absolutely. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. I think both of these games are absolutely on the list of best VR games that I've ever played. I think that they're next level versions of the best of last gen, and only time will tell if they hold up over time like these other games have. But I don't feel weird about saying that. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But a great time to be a PCVR gamer. Roots. Who would have thought we would have come in and said that? Like, what a great time for games that you can buy on Steam and not mod.
Not me a month ago. I was definitely wouldn't have said that. I also agree with Brandon VR. I don't know if Behemoth will be my kind of game. I don't even know what kind of game it is. That's my problem. I still want to see more than a concept trailer. Show me some gameplay. Explain it. Like, I kind of have an idea what Behemoth is going to be, but anybody that says that game is going to be fucking amazing is full of shit because they don't know. You could say, I think it's going to be better unless you've played it. Then maybe, we think it, just by going with developer in the past and the concept, we can say, but I've just played so many shitty games that I thought were going to be amazing. And then I get in there and I'm like, it's okay. And Behemoth is not magical. It's no different. It could be good. It could be bad. So I'm hoping it's good. I just want more.
It's going to be amazing.
Is it?
I think it's going to be great, but you have valid points, Roots. Like, nobody really knows. We haven't even seen any gameplay yet. So
yeah,
I bet it's going to be amazing, but I don't know. Maybe it won't be. Maybe they'll shit the bed with this one.
I hope not.
Hope not as well. Anyway, we are running short on time, so let's quickly get into the week's reminders. Reminder, everyone, we got some games to give away. And really quickly, I want to announce our winners. So we're giving away 3 different games, right? We're giving away Synth Riders on Quest. We're giving away a copy of Alvo on PSN, and we're giving away a copy of Alvo on Pico. Now, 2 out of the 3, we have default winners because we only had 1 person enter. So I'm going to just go ahead and announce those right off the top here. Blam Crotch, congratulations, you win Synth Riders because you're the only person that wants it. Everyone else already has it, apparently.
And congratulations on the name.
Right here.
And anytime you can fit crotch into your name, I think that's gold. Gold, Jerry.
Ruuts Crotch.
You know who else loves crotch? Roots?
My mom.
You know who else loves Ruuts Crotch?
Oh, yeah, she does.
My mom.
Double time.
Rogue TR, congratulations. You are the only person, one of 5 people I know that have Pico. So you win the copy of Alvo on Pico. So congratulations there, friend. You are the winner.
Sweet.
So now we have to draw, and we are using our usual method. Actually, we're not using our most recent method, which is have my wife do it, because we didn't get into it till right before the show. And I said, you know what, we'll just draw live. So I'm going to actually do it using the random.org random number generator. Everyone who entered for the PSN copy of Alvo has been assigned a number. We are going to have random.org tell us which number is the winner in just a moment. But first, we're going to see who in the chat can grab that copy of Wandering in Space that I just put in there.
My guess is Radio Run, Idaho. Just because he just came in and I wanted to hit his button. You got
All
this,
right,
Radio
so
Run.
Copy
You know who
of
else likes to
Wandering in
hit Radio
Space.
Run's button?
My mom.
Oh yeah, you know who loves to have their button hit by Radio Run?
My mom.
Yeah, she does.
Copy of Wandering in Space floating in chat for the first person whoever wants to grab it. Now we go to random.org. All right, random.org is up. We hit the generate button and it tells me that number 2 is the winner. You know who else loves number 2, Rich?
Oh God.
My mom.
Tell her that's not sanitary. Stay away from
Wait a
that.
minute. Did she? She does. Hey, did she watch that video? The two girl video?
Yeah. One mom, two cups. No, just kidding. Oh.
Congrats to Chris9989 who got the Wandering in Space key.
Nice. You did
On
it.
you, bro.
Two moms, one cup.
Fighting over that cup too. Come on, moms. Stop. It's gross.
All right.
Family show.
Congratulations to number 2, who happens to be Matt and Kuda. Congratulations, Matt and Kuda.
Nice.
You have won Alvo on PSVR. Hopefully you get a free upgrade to PSVR 2. Still unclear about the upgrade path.
When are we going to get Pavlov on PSVR 2? I'd like to check that out. Do we have any connections there, or we have any keys floating our way?
I've got the email. I never have requested it though. I mean, we've just been so far behind the 8 ball. I've just never really got around to doing that. But yeah, we definitely need to get in there. People were saying great things about it.
People say it's amazing.
Yeah. People are calling it the best shooter on PSVR 2.
Yeah, we got to check it out.
Big words. So yeah, definitely going to get around to it. Probably should take a day and send some emails. I have a few emails I need to send, so maybe we take Monday or Tuesday this week and just work on emails. Anyway, so that is Alvo done. That is Synth Riders done. I'm pretty sure that Eric said that he has a couple of copies of The Last Worker to give out. So we're going to give out one in the chat. We're going to give out another one next week. So anyone who wants a chance to win a copy of The Last Worker on the platform of your choice, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below to enter the drawing. Next week we'll draw winners. And yeah, everyone should be able to play. It's on every platform.
Free stuff.
Yep.
Anyway, the same thing goes for the people in chat. The first person in the chat to name any of the studios that developed or published this game, there are quite a few. Name any one of them, and that any one of the studios that worked on this game, and you will win a copy on the platform of your choice. First person on my screen to answer correctly wins the copy.
There's a lot of them in this game.
Yeah,
Publishing, developers. There's a lot of people worked on this thing.
Chatty trying to win 2 copies by giving 2 answers. Chatty is the winner. Chatty is the winner. Thank you, Chatty. Oify, Wolf and Wood Interactive, both acceptable answers.
If
So-
it wouldn't have been,
Ion came up with all 3, but after Chatty.
I was going to say, if it wasn't at Chatty, I would have given it to Space Dennison for saying Pavlov good. Because I agree, it is good. It's very good.
Yeah, I saw last week that they interviewed a caveman about Pavlov, and that's exactly what he said.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Good.
Shocker,
Same
Oprah's
thing that-
excited about
Same
it.
thing that same thing that Frankenstein said about it too.
Too.
Pavlov good.
Well, you know what? Ion could get a chance to win it. I'm giving away another copy in the Facebook group, and I'll probably give away another copy on Thursday night too. So if you really want to win it, come by, hang out. We'll give another copy away there.
So congrats, Chatty. Everyone else who would like to win a copy of The Last Worker on the platform of your choice, check out Eric over at Q2C Gamer. That is linked in the description. And leave a comment down below. We're going to draw next week and give away another copy. So thank you to Eric. Thank you to Wired. Thank you to Impact. Thank you to all of you for.
Thank you to you, Wes.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Anyway, again, we are running short on time here, so we need to kind of pick it up a little bit. Let's talk about what's out this week. Congratulations, winners. Hit me up on Discord. It might be tomorrow before I get to you because obviously I got to go to work. But hit me up on Discord, Chatty. Let me know what platform you want your key on, and we'll get your keys out to all of you. Let's talk about what's out this week, Ruuts. There are a few things out this week on multiple platforms. So let's take a look, shall we?
Mighty Yell invites you to an all-new adventure. A king gone missing, a realm in jeopardy, and a kingdom living in fear. You must save them, all from your grandmother's attic. Witness a world within a world. where every object holds a secret and every memory is filled with magic. Guide Guinevere and save the land from darkness. None of us is ever prepared for the challenges ahead. But you might be. A Night in the Attic. Coming April 13th.
A Night in the Attic apparently is a VR version of a tilt maze with the story-driven campaign built right into it. A unique concept, to say the least, Roots, and for what it's worth, Upload VR says it's good.
Yeah, well, it's got to be good if Upload's saying it. It's actually 50-50. I'll tell you what, how much money was spent on the review. This this game actually does look kind of cool, though. It looks unique. I'm intrigued by the whole, just watching that the guy running around and the tilt board. It's already got me interested to see what's going on in there. So
I see you shaking your head, Eric. We've got a key for this, I'm pretty sure. Are you saying?
Do we
you don't wanna
really?
cover it? Yeah.
Holy shit! I'm already going to go on a limb and say this game's going to be a big piece of shit. I don't know. I'll go on a limb right now. Roots will think it looks odd, different. I'm going to say I'll put my vote towards that's going to be bad.
I'm going to say that there are people who are going to like this. Now I'm not saying that everyone's going to like it, and obviously Roots, he's already decided that he doesn't like it, so it doesn't matter if it's good or not.
It's already shit now.
He's already made
It's
his
already
mind up.
garbage.
It's already garbage.
Garbage of the sea.
Anyway, I think I haven't claimed the key yet, but I think I do have one in my email, so maybe we give this one a look.
It looks interesting to me. I mean, it may be horrible, but it looks different. So it is better than what the I think.
Speaking of games that I have a key for in my email that I haven't claimed yet, I could say the exact same thing about this next game. So, Roots, this game asks, what do you do when you see a spider? And something tells me your first reflex isn't to kill it with fire. Am I wrong?
No, I think that would probably get me fired pretty quickly. Although it would be interesting. I'd love to do that in one of those really, really uptight, rich houses where the people are just uncomfortable with me being there to begin with. But no, I reach for poison. Poison seems to not burn the house down. But I think it'd be interesting for Radio Run. He probably loved burning those spiders. It would be very lethargic, or I guess would help, right?
Yeah, for what it's worth, I could see this concept working in VR. Now, I do think the game suffers a little bit from questical graphics. I feel like if we had a photo real spider game where you're trying to kill it with fire, I mean, that might work a little bit better. But Eric, what do I know? I mean, this is a VR version of a flat game that reviewed pretty well, so this might be good.
It's got to be great, right? What the Golf was good, so What the Bat's got to be the best game ever.
Right, exactly.
What does Upload think?
More garbage. Wow, what am I looking at? How do we go from the stuff that we just talked about for Quest, 2
All right,
for last month?
All right, fine.
Then we got
fine. Fair enough. Roots, do we have anything this week that people might be excited to play?
Hi, Wesley from Triangle Factory here. More than 60,000 people played the Breachers Open Alpha, and we are super grateful for the community's response. I'm excited to announce that Breachers will be available on April 13th. You can pre-order the game now and receive the exclusive Elite Jesper gun skin. We will be releasing in-depth videos covering the new maps and features in the coming weeks. The open alpha will be available until March 24th. Don't miss out on your chance to try Breachers before it goes live on April 13th.
Breachers is out this week on Oculus Quest, Pico, and PCVR. Eric, it's been a while since we've had a Quest game coming with this kind of hype behind it. And beyond that, I don't know if I've ever seen a game that's been so highly praised, even from the earliest stages of alpha, as this game. Like people are legitimately raving about this game. And literally when I see it, it just looks like a shooter to me. Like I'm sure it looks fine, but I'm excited to play this because of the hype that's surrounding it. Have you played it yet?
I have not. I have not. I was offered a key to play this game a long time ago, and a lot of people could, like anybody could a while ago. I just didn't have the time, and then like they asked me, Triangle Factory asked me like, hey, come in and do testing, and you know what it is with us is we just don't have time to do everything. And I got myself into a couple other things that was taking a lot of my time, so I just didn't do it. But it looks freaking cool, man. Like I want to do it. Make me do it, and I'll go do it.
Yeah, I think we met these people in San Francisco, unless I'm mistaken.
We did Timo from Triangle Factory, which is a great studio. They do great stuff. You know, I love all their games that they've done. So I think that they have a good hit on their hands. I will get into this probably this week. Hopefully, I'll get into this.
Roots, this is the only game on this week's release release list that I don't already have a key for in my email. Should I add this to the to-do list for email day when I'm sending out requests this week?
I would absolutely, because people are going ape shit about this game for a couple reasons. Obviously, I assume the game is good, but people are craving a Rainbow Six Siege in VR, and you know, like if that's what they're delivering, that game is one of the best shooters that are flat. Just the mechanics, the gameplay style, the teamwork, the same thing that you love about Firewall 0 Hour, is 10 times better in Rainbow Six Siege. So if they do a better version of it, even then better than Firewall 0 Hour, then it's going to do really well, and that's why people are going crazy for it, because they already love this genre of shooters, right? Same thing with Ghost of Tabor. There's enough people that love Tarkov out there that when they see a legit version of it in VR, they just go ape shit, right? So super cool.
All right. I think you convinced me. I was just going to say, you know what? Screw it. Let's just do this one and
get the spider one instead, the fire one.
Oh man, I
Oh
was
yeah, we
gonna
already got that.
hit my backlog and play Village and Resident Evil 4 and maybe some Song of the Smoke. But I guess we're gonna try to get Breaches in there too.
I think it's going to be amazing. I think people are going to love it. I think you're going to love it, you know? And the reason
Well-
why Firewall 0 Hour, like imagine Firewall 0 Hour, how well it could have done if it had been all platforms instead of just one.
That's true.
You know.
And Firewall is my favorite competitive multiplayer shooter in VR. So if this is anything like that, then I'm sure I'm gonna really, really dig it.
Yeah. Well, who was it that said that they like the drones and just the way that, you know, it's just so much more like Rainbow Six than Firewall 0 Hour, and that some of that was the best things about it, right? And like you send out your drone, you go in first person and you're scouting for other people on the other team. Super cool.
As we move along, we come to this week's wish list segment. This is where we ask all of you to take a moment in real time and join us as we go to support the developers out there by taking a moment to wish list something. It could be something that we've talked about today, could be something that completely off our radar. Um, I think I'm going to wish list Breachers, which you can pre-order right now. $30 it looks like for this game. And yeah, I'm probably one of the few people that haven't already. wishlisted it.
I just
Eric,
wishlisted.
what
Same.
oh, you got Bridges as well? What
Yep.
about you, Eric? What are you wishlisting this week?
Since I thought everything else looked like shit, I'm going to do Breachers.
Are you
Well, that's
really
cool.
not going to try to burn those spiders, Eric? I think you kind of owe it to
I don't
society.
know. You sure there's not some kind of other mindless, stupid, nonsensical simulator out there? Like, you know,
What if it's better?
vacuum your carpet simulator.
What if it's better
I'm
than
sure.
What the Bat?
Could be very
Could
well.
be.
What the bat? What the spider? What the vacuum? They're all the same.
What the fire?
What the vacuum?
I do think that this kind of game could be like bad for somebody that's on the edge for becoming a pyro. And they like play this game, and this is like they're like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm just burning it all because it was so much fun in the game. I got to burn spiders and pretty much everything. So
I don't know. Does pornography turn people into rapists?
Yes.
I mean, that's the question,
Oh.
right? I don't know. I think the question is that it varies individual by individual.
That's
I think
true.
that there's a very small percentage of the population that are probably already have mental illness, and things like video games could set them off and put
That's
them
true.
over the edge with the fire or guns or whatever. I think for most people, it has the opposite effect. Being able to do these things in VR keeps most normal people from going out and trying to do them.
That's
in real life,
true.
'cause they don't have to.
Westworld, that was the whole premise, right? You go there, kill,
Yep.
rape a couple people, kill a couple people, get it out of your system. Doesn't seem to
Yep.
work that way.
That's the promise of Grand Theft Auto VR. We get a rape and pillage, and no consequences.
Go crazy. Yeah, no consequences.
Mm.
Anyway, that brings us to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can support us, our channel, and our community. Of course, if you haven't already, please, please, please click the big red button, click the bell. That way you can stay up to date with all of our content and help us to continue to grow, help our profile continue to grow on YouTube. We've been growing a lot lately. Thank you to everyone out there who has recently subscribed and shared our channel. You guys are awesome. If you want to do a little something extra, you can support us on Patreon, less than $1 per week, $3 per month. That's all we ask. You get access to our weekly show notes, you get insider updates, you even get the occasional bit of exclusive content, all for less than $1 per week. And you get to feel good about yourself knowing that you did something good to help support us in our channel. Again, the funds that have come to us through Patreon and YouTube and all the platforms have been instrumental with what we've been able to do on this channel this year. We wouldn't have been able to do any of it without you. So thank you to everyone who donates their hard-earned money. We appreciate all of you.
Yep.
I think 2 people, or everybody in this chat, should go tell 2 people about Virtual Strangers, and we get over 3,000 within the next couple of weeks.
Which
Let's
2
do it.
people?
Go tell.
That's
Go
doable.
tell 2
Oh,
people.
I thought you
Go
were
tell 2 people, guys.
it only takes
Anybody
2.
out there right now, go tell 2 people that you know and tell them how good this is. Tell them how much fun you had here, how great of a community this is. Tell them about Virtual Strangers and get them in here with us. 2 people. That's all you got to do. Convince them. You can do it. I have faith in all of you.
Yeah. Share my
We
mom with
absolutely can hit
everybody.
3K. We
Yep.
could hit 3K in weeks. We're at 28.25 last time I looked. So we're getting there. And that's kind of hard to believe because it seems like we just hit 2K like just very recently. So we've been growing a lot thanks to PlayStation VR 2, I think mainly, but thanks to all of you for sharing and tuning in. So
Artful says, I won't pre-order anything. Can't speak. As I was duped to buy Ghosted Tabor, and that has been broke since release. Is that true, Mash? Is it broke?
It is not broken, but it's definitely not perfect.
Right.
So yeah, it is definitely not perfect. And you know, again, early access. If you're buying things and you think they're going to be perfect in early access, you probably should just wait and never buy anything in early access.
Yeah, especially that game is just came out of alpha. Like that's early access. I would expect for Breachers to be in a little bit more completed phase than Ghosted Tabor. Ghosted Tabor is like it's kind of like you're doing a early person adoption, right, or something. So
right. Chrome Colossus says I mentioned Virtual Strangers on Reddit to people as a YouTube recommend. Thank you.
Nice.
So that's awesome.
We used to post on Reddit. Remember that, Wes?
Yeah, I remember. It was one of our early tactics to try to get to a couple hundred subs. We used to go to Reddit, and they're very hostile.
People are mean.
Yeah,
they are mean.
They don't like people who self promote there. They don't like that at all.
Nope.
Anyway, maybe you don't have any money to donate, which is certainly understandable in today's current economic climate. But the good news is you don't have to pay in order to participate. There's an invitation down below to the Virtual Strangers Discord, which is where we all live. It's our home. It's where we hang out. It's where we talk about stuff, gaming and otherwise. As it's where we get together to play multiplayer games. It's where we watch people run from the police and sometimes die. We do all that and more on the Virtual Strangers Discord. It's free to join. There's an invitation link down below. Come join us. Come home.
Those police chases are the best. Crazy.
They are.
They are.
I need to get around to restructuring the Discord. I have a bunch of ideas of things I want to do with it. One of them is to have the police chase channel, so people don't have to post that shit in off topic anymore. We can just go to the police chase channel and watch our chases.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's our show this week. I want to thank everyone for showing up and hanging out with us. For Ruuts and Eric, I'm Wes. We'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.
Take it easy.
See you later.